everyone, and welcome to the Battle of Bristol. It is the Bullets versus the Pride, UWE versus SGS, the BUCS Championship winners against the BUCS Trophy winners from last season. Both teams have had an incredible start to the year as well, conceding just one touchdown between them. I've got a feeling that's going to change tonight. Two stellar lineups, local pride, and the top of the table is at stake here. Let's take a look backwards before we take a look forwards. Lots to look forward to before the game gets underway. One of those things later on in the season is BUCS Big Wednesday. Both of these teams featured heavily last year, lifting the silverware. Let's take a look.
We've got a bonanza of American football for you here on BUCS Big Wednesday. Through. He's at the 30 now, at the 20. Will they catch him? Has anyone got the speed to Pleasant Benny? No, they haven't.
And Nottingham find themselves desperately clinging on as the runner goes in the middle, into the end zone. Touchdown, Bullets.
Congratulations to the SGS Pride.
And it's caught! The UWE Bullets.
Joining us in the cold tonight, Grant Lawless, the Great Britain team manager. Big weekend coming up for you with the trials. However, great to have your company tonight, and it's going to be an exciting one.
Yep. Apart from being really cold out here, we've got a great view, great team, and hopefully a great show and a great game for everyone to watch.
One of the things I'm most excited about are some of these young, great British players, particularly in the SGS lineup. You've got trials coming up this week, but a real opportunity for them to pit their wits against some Americans, some scholarship students from UWE.
Yeah, they've got a lot of under-19 graduate players playing for their team. This will be the first time that they would have come up against a calibre of player that they're coming up against. They've got a very young squad, I think average age about 22, so to see them go up against someone, it's going to be pretty exciting.
And what about some of these scholarship players from UWE then? I mean, it just sounds intimidating, doesn't it? They've played various levels over in the States, the birthplace of the sport, but they've come here now. It's not just on the pitch, they can really develop players off the pitch as well.
Yeah, any team that brings Americans in, what they will find is that they develop a culture of winning, of competing, of trying to be better than your opposition. I've seen it in several teams where Americans come in and they change how you approach the game, how you prepare for the game, how you approach training, and ultimately how you perform.
Well, they are looking to develop a great side, but also these two teams are looking to develop a great season, both undefeated going into this evening. And I got the thoughts of the coaches ahead of the kickoff. It has been a quite astonishing start to the season. You're racking up huge scores in your bid to go back-to-back in the BUCS Championship. What have been the main takeaways from the first few games of the season?
Main takeaway for me was just how prepared the players are. We get a lot of support from the university, from sports psychology, nutrition, S&C, equipment, and it's just meant that the players have been healthy and been on the field as much as possible. And when they're on the field, they just do amazing things. So yeah, I think that's been a big secret, keeping them healthy.
Your opponents have had a great start to the season as well. Are you expecting more of a challenge tonight?
I really hope so. There's been different challenges, let's put it that way, but I really, really hope so. You know, I used to work at SGS College, and I'm looking forward to seeing them tonight. So. Yeah.
How important do you think it is, whether it's local or countrywide, to have programmes like yours and theirs, really bringing on players locally, talent-wise, but also internationally for local players to learn from too?
I think it's very important, and hopefully the NGB sees this game tonight. They saw the Nottingham game last year, this game tonight, and they just start to support. You know, it all comes down to the coach and the people willing to help the programme. And the more they can help the coach, the more they can help the people that support the team and run the team. The players are just going to be put on an even bigger platform. So hopefully the NGB sees this tonight, and they invest time, effort, whatever it is, even if it's not money. So.
Well, they have invested in the facility here because it's a beautiful surface, gorgeous vista as well, but that doesn't help with the conditions because it is freezing tonight. How does that affect the way, or you think it'll affect the way the game's going to go?
I'm not too worried about it. As long as it's dry, I'm happy. And we were here last night doing a walkthrough. We get up early for conditioning. I think the guys are used to the cold weather. They've been levered up the past couple of weeks ready for this game. And, you know, you don't feel the cold when you're excited. So, yeah.
Good luck tonight. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Before we talk about tonight, let's talk about the beginning of the season, because you must be pleased with how you've started.
I am, yeah. I mean, we've not really skipped a beat from being promoted. I thought we might have struggled a bit more with Birmingham than we did, but all the games have been fairly straightforward. Each team's given us sort of a good sort of quarter and maybe a half of football, but we've pretty much outlasted all of them and put up good scores and not conceded any points.
Well, yeah, you've not conceded a touchdown or any points at all. How do you think the team will react when they do, at whatever stage of the season it happens?
We're fully expecting to concede some tonight. I think we're certainly up against it. It's sort of giant killing time tonight. I think we'll be surprised with the kids. I've sort of underestimated them in the past when we played games, and I'm always pleasantly surprised. I'm kind of hoping for that tonight, really.
How proud are you of the role that you and the rest of the coaches and the organisation in general play in terms of developing that young British talent?
Really proud. I mean, it's not just British talent either. We've got kids from Holland, Germany, Spain, Italy, Belgium, Scotland. We've got them from all over. I mean, yeah, really proud, especially my two assistants, Coach Fitz and Coach Ash. They've done exceptional work this year. We're not we're a minority sport. Most of the kids we get that've got any kind of talent normally come with some sort of baggage. Otherwise, rugby would have them. So it's never plain sailing. It's always interesting. It's always fun, but yeah, it's challenging at the same time.
And nights like tonight, under the lights, two local rivals, both who play a massive part in the sport in this country. How important are they?
Really important. I'm hoping tonight kind of kickstarts a good rivalry and a clean one, hopefully. That can be just about football. I'm hoping that we'll put a good showing in. Like I said, it's giant killing time. I mean, it's a university of 40,000 and we've got less than 300 students. They've got loads of American imports. Our quarterback came from Southampton. It's a big difference. It's one that we're not scared of. We relish these type of opportunities and these type of challenges. It's just we're excited to see what will happen, really.
Thanks for having a chat. Good
luck.
luck.
No worries. Thank you.
SGS Pride just got to be brave tonight, haven't they? Great to hear from both coaches, and as you can see, the players are out. Their final preparations are underway ahead of the Battle of Bristol. Great to have you company wherever you're watching around the world, and that's something I'm going to reference throughout the evening because we do have a global audience. I know for a fact that some of the American scholarship students who are going to be turning out for the Bullets this evening, we've got their families and friends watching from across the pond, so welcome to you, and welcome to everybody else as well. Also, welcome to you, Grant. We're going to have a good night tonight, aren't we?
I hope so. I was just saying, we were just talking about we hope it doesn't snow, but it feels that way, but I think we're good.
It is a cold one. I mean, I spoke to the coaches earlier, and Dan said he doesn't think it's going to affect the way they play, but it has to, surely. Look, it's a game that's played in all conditions. Baking hot sun, 6 foot deep snow. You can play this game, whatever, come rain or shine. But when it is cold like this, it just makes the simple things more difficult, doesn't it? Passing the ball, catching the ball, making the tackles, they're all harder in the cold.
Yeah, certainly. And I think what will come into effect tonight is if people are on the sideline for a prolonged amount of time, they're going to get stiffer, they're going to get colder. So they're going to have to make sure they take care of their bodies and keep loose, keep warm on the sideline and be ready to go on at any instant.
So from an offensive perspective then, do you think the quarterbacks are going to be running plays that maybe keep them out there for a little bit longer and leave the defense on the sidelines?
No, I think the quarterback wants to have as few plays as possible, score on the first one, get off, get their hand warmer on, sit down, put his coat on.
Oh, hand warmers sound good. Why didn't we think of that? Let's talk about the two teams then, because we spoke about them briefly when we were in Vision. But we do have two very exciting lineups. Both coaches talked about how they hope that this rivalry is going to grow over the years. Now SGS are in the top division, but it is a tall task for them. There are some more experienced players in the Bullets lineup. So result aside, what do you really want to see from SGS Pride tonight?
I'd like to see a competitive game of football. I hope for them that they don't get too... blown away by the big players, these Americans. Oh, they've played here and there, and they just forget that it's just 11 of your guys versus 11 of our guys, and we're just going to play football.
Well, you can see them there, just in the right-hand side of your screen. They're a big group, they're a vocal, they're an enthusiastic group. And I don't mean this in any of the negative permutations. They're a big, brash group as well. They're a tight group of friends, they're a good group of players, and they've certainly come here to upset the apple cart. Every single person in that group there, currently shouting, whooping, hollering and counting down, thinks they can win this game tonight.
Absolutely, and what they have in their favour is these guys have been together for 2, 3, 4 years. They've come up through the SGS Academy, so they know each other, they have relationships with each other, and they want to win together and prove that they're not the little brother.
Well, so far, so good for them. They have had some pretty massive lopsided score lines, as very often the top teams at the BUCS level do, but it is going to be different tonight, and it's a real test of a team's character as to how they respond when the challenge is a little bit more difficult.
Yes, so this SGS team wouldn't have come up against anyone as experienced, big, fast, strong. This team from UWE are different to anything that they've seen before, and I think that their wins so far have been really good. They've absolutely destroyed people, but they've relied on their speed to be able to do that, and I think today their speed will be matched, but it will be up against that is going to be a strength that matches them as well.
Well, let's talk about this UWE team then, because we've pumped the tyres up of the SGS Pride, but this is a team with a great programme. They're the national champions. They've recruited incredibly well. They've got a great coaching setup. They've got all the ingredients that a top team at this level needs.
Absolutely, and if you look at the roster, they are stacked full of talent, and yes, a lot of it has come from America, but there's a significant amount of graduates from SGS and people who have come from the UWE 2 squad as well, so it's good to start to see people coming up through their system that are being paired with this American skill to be able to develop themselves and develop the program.
But it's great to have you here this evening for a number of reasons, for your expertise, but also for your insight into the state of the game in Great Britain at the moment. You're the team manager for the Great Britain national team. There's a trial tomorrow. I can't imagine a lot of the players who are going to be playing tonight are going to be able to go full tilt tomorrow. Big physical game. I know the youngsters think they're bulletproof. But will you be keeping an eye on some of the players here? I'm not going to ask you for names. Will there be coaches watching the live stream at home, perhaps looking at how some of these players react in a game environment?
Yep, so we actually have some of the Great Britain coaches are here tonight to watch the game. There are a few players on both rosters that we have kept tabs on. Some of these players are attending the trials tomorrow, and we're aware that they've played a game today. And it's not, we've got their tape and we've seen what they can do, and we can see firsthand tonight their ability that they can come up against top opposition. So there's no worry about guys that may be fatigued away from the game from playing this tomorrow. They may underperform. We know what they can do, so we'll take it all into account.
First few minutes of this game then. We've talked about the difference in physicality. We've talked about the confidence of the groups. We don't know who's going to be kicking off yet, who's going to be receiving. If you are out on the park, whether you're Bullets, whether you're Pride, what do you want from your players from a coaching perspective in the first few plays of the game?
Also, the kickoff, whether you're returning the ball or on that kickoff team, you have to set the intensity right there. Make sure that you go into that first contact, delivering the hit rather than being hit, making the tackle, running past someone, doing something to get your team excited and then carry that momentum into the next play.
Oh, you make it sound so simple when you put it that way, but two undefeated teams, it's a local derby, it's the trophy winners against the national champions. Just the second time this Bullets team have won the national championship, 2007, 2022, but you know, looking at this roster, looking at the confidence in the team, looking at the results, they'll be thinking about building a legacy here. They probably wouldn't say it out loud, you know, the coaches would say one game at a time, but in the back of their minds, they'll be thinking they want to be the dominant force in GB American football.
Absolutely. I think what they're building here at UWE is an amazing model that, if could be replicated, would be great for the sport. To see more teams with this level of support from their institutions and their universities, because it will create more products that we're seeing tonight. I can't think of a regular season game of American football that BUCS has ever invested in streaming, having commentators. I don't know how many people this is going to be going out to, but I imagine it will be in the thousands. It's an exciting game, some great teams, and we want to see more of this.
Well, what we do know is that when
sports were live broadcast as part of BUCS Big Wednesday, it was the football games that did the best numbers out of all of the sports, and that's no surprise really. We talked about it being a global sport and about the fact that over the years it has become the best kept secret almost. We can see how fervent the support is around the country for it as well. When you think about the NFL series games, whether they're in Tottenham or Wembley, there's a lot of love for this sport in this country, isn't there?
Yeah, and the fans that follow the support are so loyal. And whether that's just the Sunday viewers that watch the NFL, or whether that's American football players, because I think the main difference in the UK for American football compared to in the States is that the majority of people in the UK have to pay to play this sport. It's a consumer sport. It's not cheap to play it. They're choosing to play it for the love of the game.
Well, out come the 4 game captains for each team. Just a few minutes until we get underway. This is an interesting face-off as well, isn't it?
Come round and shake hands for me, please, gentlemen.
All smiles out there at the beginning too. I wonder if they're excited smiles, nervous smiles.
He'll be your umpire. This is the coin. Blue is heads. Red is tails. You're the away team who gets to call the toss. The call is tails. And it is heads. You want to receive the ball. I haven't lost the coin toss yet. Which way do you want to kick the ball? Which way do you want to kick it? They've taken the ball. Yeah, which way? You want to kick that way? So rotate for me. UWE won the toss and elected to receive. Shake hands, please, gentlemen.
Bullets will receive. What do you make of that? Is that what you'd have done?
I always want to take the ball as an offensive coordinator because I want to go out and score first. And that's the confidence that you have to take into this. I think what's good to watch here is neither one of these teams really do many kick returns, won a game, because you only get one when you concede a score.
Yeah, of course. And just one touchdown conceded between the two of them. SGS Pride's sheets are clean so far in this league, which is absolutely remarkable. It does show the level that they hold themselves at. 78-6 was the Bullets against Birmingham's score. That's the only TD that they've conceded. But now it is time to get the Battle of Bristol underway. Bullets versus Pride. Someone's undefeated record at the start of the season is about to get erased. Eventually.
Here we go.
The whistle goes, the kick is up and the game is underway.
So number 6 returning across the field.
And he's up over the 40. They're pretty pleased with that.
The referee already having to tell people, I'm watching you.
Yeah, there was a lot of enthusiasm over on the SGS bench. But now their first chance to get their hands on the ball, first chance to really feel out their opponents.
So we've got trips to the boundary, the short side of the field, and single receiver. Going deep.
Oh, long for the first time, and that is incomplete. So just to give you the starting offensive lineup for the Bullets, we've got Carrick and Brooks wearing number 3, Jax Crawford 7, Dante Sparaco at 10. Then Ignard Ramirez, McDowell and Kiley, they're 50, 53, 55 and 57. Then Amrit Chatter, 68. Hamish McClaw is the starting QB. And he didn't waste any time in getting his arm warm, did he?
No, and Frankie, the offensive coordinator, he's very aggressive. He wants to score points. He wants to put a lot of points up.
Well, they go shorter this time, and that's carried in by Karikin Brooks. There's a second down. Small gain.
So they have got a first down on that play. And I think what we're going to see today is the offensive line from the UWE Bullets are very dominant. They move the defenders at will so far this season. And I think we're going to see more of that today.
So McClaw goes short to Brooks, and Brooks bullies his way through. Got a feeling that he might be a busy boy tonight, Karikin Brooks.
They have a stable of backs that they can just interchange them. So number 7, Jax Crawford, again, he's out in the slot receiver. I think he's an isolated receiver at the minute. He also plays on defense. He does a bit of everything. Really good athlete.
So McClaw just looks at his options, completes the pass, big shot. It was Sparaco with the reception. And this has been a good start from the Bullets offense.
So that's another first down. UWE sideline will be happy with the way that they're moving the ball down the field. They're taking chunks, they're keeping the defense out there. And I think what's important after a big tackle like that is that you go and make a statement play and go and run over someone.
McClaw, Brooks, and that's exactly what he does.
There's a risk here for UWE is if they let SGS start to make plays, they will start to build confidence. They will start to think, hey, we can do this. So anytime that we see an SGS player make a good level of contact or a good play, I'm expecting to see UWE come out and try and counter that very quickly to nullify any confidence that gets built.
So UWE marching their way up the field. Here's McClaw, sends that short. That's Mampeka. Could see him conducting the play there. He was the one who took a knee, gave the instructions, and he's responded well. They're up just shy of the 20. It's been a confident opening drive from the UWE Bullets. And it comes to McClaw. Jax Crawford, big shot, big reaction from the Pride as well. That is Jax Crawford. And now the decision to be made.
So a lot of teams here might change up what they're doing once they get into that 20. They see the end zone and think, hey, I might go and take a shot, or I change how I play call. What's really important here is what they're already doing is working or has been working. Why change that?
Well, it's an incomplete pass. And now the decision to be made. What do you do here on the 4th?
Oh, they'll go for it. They don't kick field goals. They don't really punt too much. They go for it on 4th. And if they score, I would expect them to do the same.
Here's McClaw. Finds his man. It is Brooks. Can he create a lane? Drives the legs, doesn't get there. There's a little bit of afters too. Sydney Adoye for SGS Pride, not too happy.
So I think we're now on fourth. I think there might have been an error on the screen there. It looks like the sideline have put that onto fourth down. So we're fourth and four. Maybe a hard count, try and get the defense to jump offside. Certainly something that a lot of coordinators will look at in this situation.
So McClaw goes short again to Brooks. Has he got there?
It looks good. So it looks like we're going to have first and goal from the 9. So you've got 4 attempts to get it over the line now.
All the while the clock continues to tick. This still the opening drive, the opening possession. McClaw has navigated the troops well. He's used Brooks, he's used Crawford. Who's he going to use this time? McClaw looks for the pass, goes sideways and finds Brooks, who aims for the corner, rides the first.
So far this season, when UWE get into this area of the field, they have a really heavy package where they put a bunch of guys real close to the line, everyone in the middle, and they just say, hey, we're stronger, we're bigger, we're just going to run over you. It's a little far out now. I think within the 2, I'd expect to see that.
Second down and 3. Keep your eye on that number 3. He's been the busiest carrier so far. McClaw waits, and it is Brooks.
Interesting that he's slid there. I think if he'd have dived for that, he's straight in for a touchdown. He is down on about the half-yard line. This looks like that heavy package that I was just talking about.
That is a strange one. He was in there, surely.
No, his knees were in where the ball
well,
was.
No, what I mean is he could have been in. That is a touchdown scoring opportunity.
That's a business decision that he's made there. And here's that heavy package.
The big men go through. And the touchdown is scored. Big celebrations from Eric McDowell at the back of it, wearing 55. Opening drive, opening score. UWE Bullets take the lead.
I wouldn't expect to see them going for a point after. UWE like to go for 2. They regularly go for 2. They may prove me wrong, but I'd expect to see the same play that we just saw. I think the SGS sideline there felt a little bit aggrieved that the upbacks looked like they were moving around a little bit just before the snap. It could have been called for false start, but it's neither here nor there.
So to add the extras, lining up with the big men. Brooks gets tackled. That's a small win for SGS Pride.
And I think the second big tackle, that number 4, is that Gavin Lewis?
Yeah, Gavin Lewis.
So he made one earlier in the drive, made a good hit. I think he looks like he's going to be a key player for the SGS defense today.
So UWE Bullets take the lead in the first. First opportunity to score has been taken. Patient from them, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they've shown confidence that they can get it done. A team with less confidence on that 4th down, they're going to kick a field goal. They're going to try and take the points that they've got. They're not worried about not scoring at this stage because they know that they're going to come back and score again.
Was Brooks with the first touchdown, diving over the top, athletic effort.
Timeout. SGS, their first of the first half at 6 minutes and 15 seconds.
So an unorthodox kick return format with 4 looking quite deep. There's a big gap along the middle, both the sidelines and behind that number 37 in the middle. You can't quite see it on the screen, but there looks like there's space for onside kicks versus this team.
Can be a first chance for SGS Pride to get their hands on the ball, but first thing, they need to gather the kickoff. Timeout was called. 6:15 left in the first. Plenty of heat on that one.
So return left. That's number 20. He's not on our list. The way he was moving, that looked like AJ Carr, but I may be incorrect. I know AJ Carr is one of their top players. We'll have to find out if that is him there.
Everybody back it up!
Either way, it is a first down. SGS, their first drive of the game. Louis Benzi, the quarterback, wearing number 3, one of the matchday captains as well. This is his first touch. Oh, he's under a bit of pressure, but that's a good take by Olieskovic. He's gobbled up by Davine Thomas in the defensive line. But passing the ball, getting it moving.
Well, then that's it. This is the confidence builder. The QB in here needs to build confidence that, hey, I can hit my guys. My players are going to catch the ball. We're going to get first downs. So the first hit, yep, we've got the first down in the first series.
Again, goes deep, but throws that into space. Lot of pressure coming on from the UWE Bullets. And is this where we might see some of those strength disparities?
Yes, and I think because the defensive line here for UWE is A, experience, B, huge, and C, they don't stop. They'll keep going and they want to chase you, and it's intimidating. Okay, Benzi, the QB, he's a young guy. He led the team last year, but he wouldn't have faced anyone near this ability previously.
Well, here he is on the second down, Benzi. Bazunu, lovely feet from Bazunu. Ovi Bazunu, the running back, is a very different approach to Karikim Brooks, isn't it? Light on his feet.
Yeah, and what you saw there with the counterplay, you saw the offensive lineman showing a little bit of misdirection. He's taken a hard step. He's juked a couple of defenders, and then I think the UWE sideline got pretty excited that they made a tackle, but hey, you've just given up 6 yards.
Oh, that is one way to come back, though. Whew. And listen to that reaction from the Bullets. Oh, that is a massive shot. They have swallowed up Bazunu.
And this comes back to that confidence piece. SGS did something good, and you would say, hold on a second, no confidence for you. I'm going to give you a little slap, put you back in your box, and say it's time to punt the football. Now, this is where UWE have been really special, and this is how they've put up a lot of their points, is on these punt returns, kick returns. They've got guys that they're not really trying to block it, they'll set up a return. You see, they've rushed 1, 2 guys, and now they're all peeling back, looking for someone to block. Great punt.
Oh, some afters here. That's Ibrahim Konate for Pride. Didn't see who he was wrestling with, but there might be a little bit of that tonight.
Yeah, Ibrahim has a bit of a short fuse. He played for me in the summer up in Nottingham. He's a really good linebacker. He's just transferred from Nottingham Trent University down to SGS. Good talent, good young guy, really well put together, long limbs, which is what all of the NFL scouts are looking for.
Yeah.
Is, have they got long arms? And he does.
But that first possession for SGS, a fruitless one.
So I would expect to see some SGS pressure here.
Oh, there might be some pressure, but it's only a shirt tackle and it's more yards.
Yeah, and so defensive coordinators, once they come out and they're in what people often call the black zone, is when the offense is up on their own goal line, is defensive coordinators get really excited and think, I could get some points here. I could
Injury
get
timeout.
safety. And they change their play calling, so they get a bit more excited and they get a bit more exotic and do some spicy blitzes. Now, what that does is that leaves you at risk for some deep shots. So I would expect here UWE to spread the offense out and take a little shot. Why not? Like, let's just ping it down there. Let one of our guys be one of our guys and make a play.
You've said spicy there. Spicy sounds hot. I would take anything to raise the temperature here at the moment. Oh, my goodness me. We've got ski socks and layers on. The players are taking a quick breather here because there's well, let's call it a medical timeout, because there's somebody down with cramp, and I'm not surprised that the muscles are contracting a little quicker than usual here this evening. I mean, we're rattling through the first quarter here. Just the one touchdown, but is this game shaping up as you expected it might?
Yeah, I think UWE, I expected to move the ball quite freely. I think SGS have some players who can move the ball, but I don't think it will be as freely. They're really going to have to work for their yards. They're going to have to work really hard for their first downs. And I think what's going to be really important is that their coaches do the right things. They make the right calls and put their players in the best position to be successful.
Well, we're going to get back underway. Second down here for the Bullets. Their second possession of the game. First possession was a patient one. A number of first downs.
So Dante has come off. So he is the tight end for the UWE, number 10, Dante Sparaco. So they look like they've spread the players out a little bit. QB looking over to his right.
And once again, it's Brooks. These running back, their conditioning levels are ridiculous, aren't they? The amount of work they go through.
Absolutely. And it's not just the running, it's dealing with the impact and conditioning your body to be able to deal with that and then come back and go again. I think what this quarterback has been doing really well, and part of the scheme, is on these handoffs, so he's giving it to the running back. He's doing a really good job of faking that he still has the ball. So he's holding the defender on the backside a little bit longer, and he's not able to flow to the football so much. We've
just seen him do exactly the same thing there as Brooks steps through, and he's just making yards look so easy.
And again, that's another first down. So the UWE defense here need to really think about, we need to step up and do something, because if they come off the field after a 99-yard drive, that's tough. Yeah. You're now 14 points down, and you've seen that UWE can drive the ball. It's not just one big play. They're doing any play that they want, and they're taking their chunks.
They pass this time. Pass complete. Jax Crawford. Oh, around the outside, Crawford. Great run. Oh, and eventually on the 40. But that is a big play. That is big yards. It's another first down. And a sign of variety from McClure to find Jax Crawford.
And Jax Crawford is an interesting scholar. He's one of the few players here that are on an undergrad course. So he's with the UWE Bullets for a 3-year course rather than just the 1 year that a lot of scholars come over for.
That's great play selection from McClure and the Bullets, though, isn't it? Because Brooks, they're thinking about Brooks, then all of a sudden there's acres of space for Crawford.
Absolutely.
Another first down. What's McClure going with this time? This time he's bringing Mampaka into the action. Abel Mampaka, formerly of SGS.
And the blocking all over the line, and not just for the offensive linemen, the wide receivers and the tight ends. There were a lot of blue jerseys getting up off the floor that play. Number 10, the tight end, he had blocked his defender maybe 15 yards downfield and put him on his backside.
Lovely spin out of the first collision from Abel Mampaka too. And just like that, the Bullets starting thinking about touchdown number 2. Another first down. And another carry from Mampaka. It's lateral, but he's so strong to ride the first. He's enjoying himself out there. Back-to-back carries for that man. Second down. So our clock has hit 0. Just a reminder that we're not linked in with the official clock, so might be a little bit of time to go yet as Bullets go up the right-hand side. Oh, and just out of bounds. McClure going himself this time. First time we've seen him rush. Looked sharp as well, didn't he? I think he fancied it.
Absolutely. And again, you see the receivers making great blocks downfield, using great technique. They're not holding, they're not putting at any risk. I think even though UWE have just driven 90 yards, what SGS can take away from this is usually UWE are having 2 or 3 plays and it's a touchdown. This has been 8, 9, maybe 10 so far.
Now McClure dishes it up again. Brooks looks to dance his way through. Stop 3 short.
So I would expect to see that motion again later in the game, and the QB will pull it. What we saw there is the wide receiver, as he motioned, he just left a tight end, and then there was no one there. The cornerback didn't look like he's going to be able to deal with the run too much, and the outside linebacker came with quite a lot of pressure. So I'd expect UWE to come back to that, motion it, and then the QB will keep it and just run freely into the end zone.
Second down. Here's McClure. Lays it off to Brooks, who is home again. Second touchdown for him. Second touchdown for the Bullets. And he's just glided through. He's having some game.
I mean, I think I could have ran through there. The blocking on that was fantastic. O-line have done a great job. He's made a little sidestep, but really I don't think anyone has touched him until he's 2 or 3 yards into the end zone already.
Well, there's a flag on the play. Let's have a listen in to see what that means.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 10 of the offense. 15-yard penalty will be enforced.
So they'll be enforced on the kickoff. So what that means is the kickoff's going to be moved a little bit closer. So with these dangerous kick returners on the UWE field, this helps SGS because it will give them higher opportunity of kicking a touchback, which means the ball just goes on the 20. And this is what the SGS sideline were complaining about before. They're moving around, they're not getting set, and here we have a false start. I think
Offense
there were 2
number
guys
42.
that could have...
5-yard penalty on the try spot. We'll repeat the try.
So it comes back a bit further. Expect to see the quarterback coming out here. Pass play would make sense. Although, that said, the run game's been going for 10 or 12 yards to play anyway, so I guess you could do either or. I'd expect to see a pass play here.
All eyes on McClure there, number 12. In the pocket, ready and waiting. Here he is, there is the pass play. There is the reception. Ethan Fischler adds the conversion.
And Ethan Fisher seems to be one of his favourite targets. From watching some of the games already this season, there seems to be a good connection there. And this is that kind of look that we're talking about when we're backed up in our own end zone. Is I just lean back a little bit, I'll pop it up, let my guy be the guy, and hey, he is him.
That takes us up to 14. Two drives, 2 touchdowns. That is a good return for the UWE Bullets. SGS, just the 1 drive, just the 1 first down in that time as well. And time on the field for the offense is proving very, very difficult for the Pride right now.
Yeah, they really do need to help their defense out a little bit, stay out there a little bit longer, because that was a long time that they were out there then to give up some points. So what's key here is an extended drive for SGS. But we can see at the bottom of the screen here, around the 30, there's so much opportunity for an onside kick. You've got 4 defenders there, 4 lane runners from UWE that could quite easily recover a football.
Gone a little shorter with that one.
So 37 there calling a fair catch, and that gives him protection from anyone coming down. Again, another business decision. I think he's aware that there's 6 or 7 Americans running down.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart decision. Because when the kickoff's a little shorter like that, you can hear the feet stamping and the lungs breathing, and you know that, well, I would say 6 or 7, so what are we talking? Maybe 1,500 pounds running directly towards you.
Yeah, it's probably not for me. That said, when the ball's up in the air and you think, I could be a hero here, who knows what goes through your head?
Yeah, one sidestep. So Benzie, this is second drive of the game. Again, takes a few steps back and surveys his options, goes long early. Big challenge for the catch, and the play's incomplete.
And these, we can see here now that SGS, they're not intimidated, they're going for shots. You've seen other teams so far at this stage, 2 scores down, and they say, you know what, let's try and keep it close. Let's not get blown out. And you'll see teams trying not to lose rather than trying to win, and it's clear here that SGS are trying to win.
So Benzie again. What was interesting on that previous play is we've got Jax Crawford out there. He was helping out Jersey Ackor, so he's doubling up in offence and defence so far this evening, and has been for a lot of the season. In fact, they were quite lucky, SGS, that Jersey didn't come up with an interception there, because he got 2 hands to it. Benzie's going to continue to play. This is the 3rd down. Again, goes for the long pass again, but the radar's a little bit off.
Yeah, and I think what's happening here is that the right defensive end
is the end
number
of the
97 for UWE, Max Parkinson. So young British kid. He is new to the game. I think he's been playing about a year. He's someone that's certainly on our radar, but you saw there that he pushed and pulled that tackle. He went straight past him, and Benzie's there, and he knows that he's coming, and I can't see. He's running into my back. I don't want to get hit by him. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
I think he's about 280 pounds of muscle. I don't want that running into the back of my head.
And I think we will all agree that is a very, very fair comment from him. For those of you that are into your metric as opposed to your imperial, what's that, about 130 kgs? It's a lot of weight. But we are at the end of the first quarter. UWE Bullets 14, SGS yet to score. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for UWE. SGS, without wanting to say I told you so, which you'd be well within your rights to, this is pretty much how you set the game up at the very start.
Yeah, and it's the strength and the size of the UWE players.
Yeah.
They've not been able to SGS this is not been able to move the ball, not really been able to block too many players. Now, there are a couple of small victories in each play for SGS, but on the whole, if you count the 11, we're probably talking 80% of the victories go in favour of UWE. So SGS is going to punt here, so it's 4th and 6 or 7, I think, from the looks of it.
I think at any time in this game we might see them just go for it on 4th, just.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past them having a trick play here and going for something a bit exotic. They're moving guys around, they're trying to confuse the UWE, but you see again there, UWE aren't really bothered about blocking the punt. They're trying to set up blocks for the returners.
Yeah, I'm just keeping my eye on some of the players off the ball. There are some afters out there. There is a bit of needle, which as long as it doesn't boil over, I'm not going to say I encourage it. However, with a rivalry like this,
an
with a lot of
invalid
young,
fair
hungry...
catch signal was given by the returner. The ball will be placed at the spot at the end of the kick, the 10-yard line. First down.
Yeah, I think from a coaching perspective? It's not a word I like to use a lot, but a little bit of passion from your players?
So I don't really have an issue with it unless it crosses that line and distracts you from doing your job.
And if you start getting flags on it, that's when you've got a problem, isn't it?
Absolutely. So don't get caught doing it, or do it within the rules.
Big charge down the middle.
So that's Dante. So I think that Dante had previously played quarterback as well as being a tight end. I'm sure someone may correct me. So that was a different person at quarterback.
He's furious about that.
About coming out?
Well, he looked at the official. We didn't hear what was exchanged. Either way. Maybe we'll find out what about later. But Hamish back in. Bullets a pass and completes that to Jerzy Akhorst.
That's number 4 again. So he's that key player on this SGS defense. Now, SGS, I think, are missing one of their best players. So they've got an Italian national team player who was ejected last week, Mike Abira. He plays professionally in Italy in the summer, but without him, and he's a real game changer, a real difference maker.
Yeah, Gavin Lewis wearing number 4 for SGS Pride tonight. Plays at Northampton Knights. As McClaw goes again. Oh, he's going to go himself, finds a gap, slides in.
So the UWE players there feel that the SGS defender hit the QB as he slid. The QB has given himself up, but the referees feel that was okay. It was within the rules. It was the momentum that kept him going. I'd have probably been shouting if I was on the offense.
Of course.
If I was on the SGS sideline, I'd say it was fine.
Well, you've got to protect the golden goose, haven't you?
They've got a few.
Timeout. UWE with 10 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
So UWE calling the timeout. 14-0. If you're just tuning in, welcome. Great to have you company. 2 touchdowns. Pardon me, Carrick and Brooks.
So it looks here that the timeout has been taken by the head coach of UWE, so he can have a chat with the referees. I think he's aggrieved by the protection that the QB is being given. Bear in mind, he's an American import scholar quarterback. He's sliding. He's been hit as he's gone down, but they're not happy about that. So I think what's happening here is he's saying, can you tell me why that wasn't a penalty?
Yeah. What kind of feedback, what kind of answers do you get from the officials in that circumstance?
So for me, it's around building a relationship with them where you can ask those questions. If you are just always going at them and you don't know their names and you don't talk to them before the game, they're probably not going to be too receptive to how you talk to them. If you treat them with respect, which everyone tries to, but the heat of the game, you might say something to them and say, have you not seen this? Obviously always politely and with respect, but sometimes in the heat of the moment you get carried away with what you say, and that does not ever help.
That's laid off by the QB once again. Another strong and heavy carry in the middle. When we've got our next break-in play, I'll tell you a little fact about the middle umpire, Peter Parsons, but that can wait. That can wait. That was Mum Packer again.
And showing such strength. He got tackled, he had someone around his waist, he carried him for a couple of steps, someone else jumped on, a few more steps, and another first down.
I wonder if they've got enough weights on the squat rack in this Bullets gymnasium, because they have got some big strong boys. Here's McClaw, lays that off again. Straight up the middle, straight up the jumper, Karikim Brooks. Yeah, those running backs, they're not scared of the contact zone, are they?
No, and what it looks like is happening is that UWE are trying to establish the run, get the SGS players to come down, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some screens coming into play here. So number 6 at the bottom of the screen now, that's the chap that got the touchdown before. Him and the QB having a little chat a few minutes ago, looking for... tripped over absolutely nothing myself then. It's very icy up here.
Well, that's an interesting one. An incomplete play. UWE Bullets have been so clinical. We've hardly seen any of them, but that time it was butterfingers from Dante Sparaco. Just off the fingertips in the cold. I mean, to be fair, he probably didn't feel it, did he?
No, and to be fair, once you're out there and you've ran into someone a few times, you're not going to feel this cold too much, especially on a surface like this. Now, if we're on a frozen, muddy field, I imagine that's going to hurt a little bit more. So we're 3rd and 8 here.
Brooks tries to go around the outside, but instead trick play, and McClure goes out to the right. They're rampaging up through Fischler. It's going to be another first down, but how far is he going to get?
And this is where that little relationship between the receiver and the QB after the run a few plays ago, they came together, they talked, when he was stood there waiting, he's like, oh, you could have thrown me the ball there, we could have got that. And a couple of plays later, they do it, but it does look like there might be a penalty on this play and it's coming back.
Let's have a listen in.
Holding, offense number 57. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 3rd down.
Ethan Kiley, the guilty man. And he's cost his team some yards right there.
He has, and the risk when these plays get extended a little bit more, especially on what should be a run play, when the QB is looking like he's going to scramble around for longer than he'd expect to, is the offensive line then starts to get a bit tired and their arms flail out and they pull a little bit of jersey and they think that they're protecting, but have ultimately cost them, what, 30 yards there?
Third down.
So we've got empty backfield, so no running back. They've moved that number 3 out into the slot. There's the screens.
And Fisher, oh, he gets scragged and then put out of bounds. God, he's livid. Ethan Fischler is livid. Wow.
And this is now 4th and 9. So not often do you see UWE punting. They were very proud last year that they didn't do it in the regular season, I think. But that man back there, number 7, Jax Crawford, he is electric. So if he sees something, I would expect him to go for it.
Oh, here we go. So Crawford waits for the snap. There it is. And he is going to put boot to ball. So that's a win for SGS. And not a huge punt either.
No, and when it's cold like this, that ball is not nice to kick.
No.
My toes right now are curled up like a little chicken claw in my shoe. I can just about feel them, but that's going to feel much worse kicking 14 pounds of pressure as hard as you can. And maybe he'll say, I'd prefer not to punt next time.
Yeah, he should have just run it. Alas, first down for SGS Pride. Oh, big tackle causes the fumble. And Bullets have dived on it. God, that really was a monster hit. George Rhymes is claiming that.
There is a flag on the play. Whether it is before or afterwards will affect what happens here.
Oh, huge collision. And then it was Davine Thomas who dived on it. And then George Rhymes sticks the finger up. So Peter Parsons down there in the black cap, who looks like he's conducting proceedings. He is also an elite level volleyball referee.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Just a multi-talented man who loves the laws of the game. That's what he is.
Batting, return team number 16. The 10-yard penalty will be assessed from the spot of the fumble. Remains SGS ball. First down.
Okay, so SGS get to keep the ball. Now, I think what happened there is one of the UWE players, he couldn't reach down, maybe his hamstrings weren't loose enough to reach the floor, so rather than picking it up, he kind of just wafted it along a little bit, and that has cost them the turnover. That's huge for SGS.
A little bit of luck there for SGS. But again, just a taste of the physicality, because it was a brutal hit that meant they coughed up the ball first up.
So on that last series for SGS, top of the screen, the defensive end number 97. He's the young, new to football, young British talent that was causing some real problems, and he was handling the left tackle without much problems being returned.
Benzie. Oh, pumps the pass, and then...
And that looked like a block in the back from the running back, but not seen. Not called.
It looked like he had so much time, but then that little delay on the pump and he got swallowed up. Take another look.
I think number 9 here is really lucky with that block there.
Benzie. He's going to have a go himself. Lovely feet from Benzie, and he slides in. And that was a lot more polite from Jersey Akhorst, wasn't it? Realised what was going on, didn't put the shot in. There's a flag on the play, though. Getting a bit tasty out there. Look at the players in there as well, trying to listen into the conversation with the officials.
Well, you have to find out. You have to find which one looks like he's got his hands on his hips. Which one has done? Oh, I think that was me. The way number 50 is moving, I've got a feeling that's on him.
There is no foul on the play. The block in question was legal.
Well, that answers that then. So Louis Benzie taking matters into his own hands, but third down here. So SGS need a play. Here is Benzie, he's going to look for the pass. Oh, he's been sacked, big sack from Max Parkinson. Massive play from Parkinson. And you've said his name, you've said his number a couple of times. He's enjoying himself out there.
Young talent, new to the game, and you can see why he's on people's list of guys to have a look for, because he has probably been the best player on the defense for UWE so far.
First sack of the game, it's a good one, it's an important one. And in terms of the keeping the body temperature up, the SGS defence are going to be a lot warmer than the SGS offence so far in this first half.
They sure are, and the benefit that UWE of having not the biggest sideline squad, because they do have 2 teams, is that the guys going both ways, they get to stay a little bit warmer.
So Fischler receives that and then just drifts out of bounds. He's got his helmet back on. He's feeling better about life than he was a couple of minutes ago, and he slammed that helmet into the ground. But that's a good catch and a good return from Ethan Fischler.
And he looked like he went over a bit softly. I think he knew he was out of bounds and someone touched him and kind of stumbled down a little bit more than he needed to. I think the refs knew better than that, though. And I think the problem with these multi-sport fields is all of the lines on them. You're trying to work out which is the line that I'm supposed to stick to. At least that was my defense when I would hit people late out of bounds.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission, as they say.
So here's those screens again.
And then Crawford. Gavin Lewis making the tackle.
So what I'd expect the UE offense to do now is we've hit a few, we've run to the middle, so we've pulled them in. We're now throwing the screens. We're going to pull those defenders down towards us. I'd expect the next couple of plays, a deep shot down the sideline, and let you know, number 2 out here at the top of the screen. Or just run over people.
Yeah. Give it to Brooks and watch him decimate defenders. You spoke about it at the beginning of the first quarter, maybe in the first drive, the way Hamish McClure is so deceitful with the way that, does he have the ball, does he not have the ball? I mean, he's caught me out a couple of times. Really feel sorry for the guys over there up on the scissor lift who are doing the main cameras, because he's bound to catch them out at some point too. Yeah, he is a wizard, isn't he?
So we look like we've got an SGS timeout here. I think it's because the formation was a little bit unorthodox. So you've got both wide receivers to the boundary side of the field, so short side of the field, and then tight ends on the field side, so the wide side. And then
4 minutes, 32 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
What you've ultimately got is a tight end and a running back that can go out and block a cornerback who isn't as big as the tight end and running back, and a quarterback that is really quite mobile, can get out there, and there's not much support to catch him. He's a fast guy. He's got a good change of direction. I won't try and step too much on this on this floor and fall over again. But yeah, I think SGS just looked at that and said, we don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
Let's call a timeout and get our heads together.
Smart coaching. Still 14-0, 4:32 of the half remaining. Still time for both teams, but UWE, I think they'll be slightly wounded by the fact that they had to punt at the end of their previous drive. They'll want to make another statement here, score another TD before half-time. Brooks has gone over twice, the extras added once by Fischler. The first time they tried to power down the middle, the same as they did for the first touchdown, and the SGS Pride defence were equal to it.
So they've stuck with this formation.
It goes to Brooks, who's got lovely feet. And he rides that first collision well, doesn't he? Sort of bounces off the first person and then just explodes away again.
Yeah, and having great core strength helps with that, because he's patient, but he's being pushed around, he's trying to keep his balance, and what's really important for these backs, especially when you've got a good offensive line like this, is you don't just run as fast as you can. You get to a bit of space, let your little friends push people around a little bit and look for another gap to open up, and he's doing a great job of being patient and finding those spaces. Now, he's come off the field, they've gone to this empty look.
So McClure, he's got options upfield, goes long. Oh, can't quite find the man, just a little too eager.
So I think there was some holding there. The right tackle looked like he'd got beaten, the UWE, and I think that there's...
Yeah, Fischler wasn't a million miles off, was there?
Defense number 18, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, or first down.
PJ Hudson, the defensive man. See how close this was.
And these extra yards from penalties that SGS are giving up, they can't afford to do that.
Automatic first down as well.
And now, what's the ball? On the 20?
Yeah.
30 maybe. Closer to the end zone.
So McClure sends the big man up front again, Mumpeka. Everyone from SGS getting involved with the tackle. They all want a piece of the action. Joe Christian, who gets up first.
So that play there looked a little bit like a read option play, because the running back ran through the middle, but the pulling guard kicked out the defensive end away from where that run came from. So I've got a feeling that we might see a QB keeper with kind of a bit of power blocking in front of it. So I expect them to come back to that, and then our QB to keep the football, keep our cameramen on their toes.
Keep them busy. Watch out for number 12. Watch the hands, not the eyes. Here he is, McClure assesses his options. There's a big gap down the middle. Great turn of pace as well from McClure. Round the outside, tackled out of bounds. But another positive carry from Hamish McClure.
That looks like another first down that's taken to about the 10.
He's quick. What I love about watching QBs run like that is they're still pointing out options. They're still thinking, is there somewhere I can get rid of this ball and make a huge play? Either way, he has got a first down. Right on the 20. As the Bullets go searching for touchdown number 3. Mampeka. Well, managed to sidestep the mountain, didn't he? There was a melee of bodies. Ferran Miokan-Lola making the tackle in the end.
And what McClure's doing here is he's not just holding the defensive end with faking that he's got the ball. The outside linebacker that's behind him is also sitting quite safe because he's worried about an RPO of the ball then being thrown to one of the slot receivers. So they're doing a really good job. I think the scheme is a lot more exciting than what UWE were running last year.
There's the pass, there's the carry, and Sparacco still wrestling. Great catch from Sparacco.
This is the 2-minute warning at 1:57 remaining in the second quarter.
But a 2-minute warning, and what a great position UWE Bullets have found themselves in again. McClure has conducted the orchestra. And we're nearly getting into heavy artillery territory again, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't think they're out there quite yet. And if SGS can get a stop here and they can go into the half at 14-0, I think they'd have taken that before the game.
McClure finds Brooks.
But it looks like another score.
Yeah, Karikin Brooks goes over for his 3rd touchdown of the night. Bullets' 3rd touchdown of the night. And if there's one man not feeling the cold, he's out there wearing number 3.
Absolutely. I think what will be interesting when SGS come back out now is to see how they take this, whether they're rattled by UWE, because they've got 2 minutes. Okay, they will practice their 2-minute offense. They will practice it regularly. We get the ball and we need to drive. We need to get out of bounds and we need to be aggressive to drive down and score. Let's get some points before half-time. If they don't do that and they come out and run the ball, then it's not quite giving up, but it shows that they're nervous about their opportunities. And
Brooks has made that look so easy. There's the extra 2 points. I mean, he's run in. There's a flag on the play. Let's see if that makes a difference to anything. But he has dovetailed behind some big guys and
After play was
strolled in.
over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 55 of the offense. 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. The score was good.
Eric McDowell, the naughty boy this time. Look how easy this is from Brooks. In behind Klosovic. I mean, the biggest tackle came from Dennis Johnson, who's his teammate. He's the only one who could have stopped him scoring.
Dennis Johnson, I have a feeling that Dennis Johnson may have been on a practice squad for an NFL team, maybe the New York Giants or someone like that. So for these, guys that, for SGS, they were playing Great Britain under 19s in the summer. They're now playing against someone that's gone, head-to-head, toe-to-toe with guys like Saquon Barkley in practice. As you can see why he's having a nice, easy time.
So SGS will be hoping that this is the final drive before the half. First downs have been hard to come by for Pride. That's a decent catch. What's the return going to be like? Oh, lovely work. Faranmi Okunlola evades the big tackle, makes some yards. Oh, and the coaching staff like that too, don't they? Bit of positivity in that SGS Pride team, and that's good to see.
Yeah, and these are the moments that give everyone else some energy around them. So the players out there will say, I've just seen my friend hurdle someone.
Yeah.
I'm going to go make a play as well. I'm going to drive it down. They've got 40 yards to go down and score, and that keeps it at 2 scores going into the half. Little disorganisation on the UWE as they're making their changes. They've called a timeout to get the right amount of players on the field.
Timeout. UWE at 1 minute 36 remaining in the second quarter. This is their second charge timeout.
A lot can happen in 1 minute 36 in this sport.
Huge amount of time. I think SGS has still got 2 timeouts. I think they used one right at the start to get the extra person on the kick return team. So they've got 2 timeouts. They should be passing it, so that's going to keep that clock stopped. Whether they have a kicker that, I don't know what the range is for their kicker, but at this stage, you're already 22 points down. Is 3 points going to be enough? You're going to have to score some touchdowns, so this feels like 4-down territory too.
Oh, goal kicking in this weather is horrendous.
I would not want to do it.
The Louis Benzie waits. There's the snap, assesses the options, goes long, and it's batted away.
Some really good coverage there. The ball was a little bit wobbly in the air, gives us risk for interceptions. There was one in the first quarter, went down the same sideline, a little bit wobbly, nearly picked, but really good coverage there.
Yeah, Donnell Lewis Jr. not even attempting the catch, just saying, no, Jacob, you're not getting on that. Jacob Coburn, the wide receiver, wearing 12.
It's another incomplete here. What's interesting is that UWE are making substitutions. SGS are not making substitutions, but they're giving them time to get off the field. Now, this is real naive in the offense where they're going too slow, because as soon as you see those fellas changing possession and they have 13 players on the field, just snap the ball. It's 5 yards, it stops the clock.
Now around the outside goes Bazunu.
They're saying he's not out of bounds there. The clock continues to run. So again, SGS are so slow to get reset. Bearing in mind, there's less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, the urgency isn't there. And they were congratulating Bazunu on the play when they needed to be. Getting ready for the next one. Is there any space on the outside? Oh, there's not. And that was a little bit laboured there from Ovi Bazunu, wasn't it?
There is a flag on the play. It looks in the area of holding from where it's been thrown. So we might have some more
holding,
yards.
Offense number 86, that penalty is declined. Turnover and downs.
So, not what SGS needed. I'm not sure how long's left, but there can't be many, but I wouldn't put it past UWE to be pushing for another score before the half. Because to be demoralised already, driven down, scored, come back, we get the ball, we nearly get a first down. To then also have another score thrown on the back of that is kind of just sending you and saying, not today.
It's a big test of character, if that happens, isn't it? To say the least. First down.
There we are up in the top corner.
Oh, hi everyone. Here's McClaw. Gets rid of the first, can't get rid of the second, just chucks it down. Surprised he didn't just go out of bounds there.
So I think he was worried that he was still in bounds and would get pulled down inbounds, which would have kept the clock rolling. By throwing it, that's going to stop the clock, give them more time to score more points.
Oh yeah, there we are. Look, you in your nice white coat, me in my nice blue one. I mean, we could do with extra coats, couldn't we? It is Baltic. I know we've mentioned it a few times, but just to give you an idea of the conditions, it is below freezing here In Bristol, there is frost everywhere as UWE look to go again. Oh, downtown from McClure, looking for the big play, getting the big play. What a take from Fischler. Oh, the tackle.
And he was pulled down by the jersey there. It looks like he's on the half-yard line.
What a play. Huge arm from McClure. And let's get confirmation of exactly where we're at with this play. What an arm, what a pass, what a catch over the shoulder by Fischler. A cannon taken there. The chase is coming in from Sidney Adoyi. Where has he brought him down?
Oh, half yard maybe. Now, here's the problem earlier is when the UW were calling a timeout to kind of disagree with the referee's opportunity.
Offense.
They've now lost the timeout.
At 0 minutes 12 remaining in the second quarter. This is UWE's third and final charge timeout.
12 seconds to score.
You've got 2 plays in there. Pop one up, quick pass, outside, and then come and run it afterwards if you don't like that.
And that is the difference. Forget, we've talked about the physicality and whatever. That's the difference in the experience of these two teams, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you could just see that there was no doubt in that receiver's mind that I am catching the football.
Here's McClure. Guns it across to Brooks. Brooks gets swallowed. Good tackle, Gavin Lewis.
They're going to run out of time if they're not quick.
And they're looking to set. And then the ball's fumbled, which should take us to half-time.
I think they're trying to say that that's an incomplete pass and we'll stop it on 1 second. We'll see if he's run out of time. Yeah, they're coming onto the field. They're saying that's done. So he was trying to spike the ball there to get one last play. But it looks like he fumbled a little bit as he was throwing back and it popped up.
So referee James Ford Bannister brings us to the end of a quite intriguing first half. 22-0 the score, 3 touchdowns, all of them finished by Karikin Brooks. Extras added twice, once by Fisher, once by Brooks. A stunning play right at the end of the quarter. Great catch by Fisher. It was actually a great tackle by Adoyi to stop him scoring a real highlight reel touchdown. But as the players from UWE Bullets rush to the sheds to try and get some temperature back in the body, SGS Pride staying out there in the cold, huddling around like penguins to try and get some warmth back in the body. Your thoughts on the first half?
I think it's been a good game of football. I think that UWE just have a little bit too much speed and strength for SGS to handle. It will be interesting to see what adjustments SGS make at half-time. You can see the UWE guys coming off at half-time. They look pretty comfortable. They don't really have any issues. SGS hasn't thrown anything to them that they can't handle. So SGS are going to have to dig a little bit deeper, find something a little bit more exotic, understand where are our opportunities and how can we attack both on offense and on defense.
Well, we're going to have a look at some of the highlights. Do stick with us wherever you're watching as well, because we're going to hear from Tonye shortly. He is the American football coordinator at BUCS. That was the first touchdown, should I say. It was Brooks who went over. That was the first drive from the Bullets, and it was a real statement of intent from them, wasn't it? They were very clinical in the early phases of the first quarter.
Yes, and as I said previously, UWE tend to have big chunk plays, 40, 50-yard plays. Now, outside of that last play, SGS have held them to having to drive the football. So UWE are doing something different than what they've been doing so far this season, but they're still able to drive the ball. They don't mind taking 3, 4, 5 yards of play because you only have to get 10 in that series.
Well, this was McClure having a little dart himself. Just before that, we saw Max Parkinson's sack. You've mentioned him a few times. You've been impressed by him, number 97 for the Bullets.
Yeah, really good talent. One of the UWE coaches was talking to me before the game about him, how he's developing, and he's really turning heads as someone relatively new to the sport.
That was that big play there. I mean, look, we can talk about the catch, it was superb. We can talk about the pass, which was on the money. But what about that tackle? Because at the moment, for SGS, they're chasing the game. It's all about little wins. Sydney Adoy there making a really good tackle on a very quick receiver who's made a great catch. That's a great play from both men.
I think it's a great tackle. He probably won't remember the tackle. What he'll remember is the fact that this receiver's just run past him and he's had to make the tackle. He would much rather be able to say, no one's throwing my way because I've locked my receiver down.
Yeah.
And he's not been able to do that.
Well, that was a big play at the end of the half. A half with no points for SGS Pride, 22 for UWE. Of course, the first 22 points that SGS have conceded this season. We will be back with the second half, but before that, let's hear my conversation earlier with Tonye, who is the American Football Programme Coordinator for BUCS.
On a night like this, it would be remiss of us not to have a chat about everything that's going on with this great sport and BUCS in general. Cue Tonye, who is the American Football Coordinator for BUCS Sport. Great to see you, great to have your company.
Thank you very much.
Really cool nights like tonight, aren't they? It's important that we do them.
Most definitely. Cool and cold. Well, no, it is truly a cool night. It's actually the first time we're sort of live streaming a regular season American football game through BUCS, so it's a massive achievement for us. BUCS, or American football, became a BUCS sport in 2016, so it's still a relatively new sport. And I guess we're trying to do anything and everything possible to try and grow the game within the higher education sector. So, yeah, nights like these are incredible, and hopefully long may they continue.
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because obviously it's a global sport. The brands, the athletes, the individual, even though most of them are based in America, they're known around the world. But you're still working hard because it is a minority sport here. I mean, we've got two great teams, massive rosters. We can see that the interest is here in the UK. So what does it mean to someone like you, who plays for Great Britain, to see young British players doing it under the lights in front of the cameras?
Yeah, I think I'll steal some words from our chief exec, the chief exec of BAFA, who said American football in the UK is probably one of the best kept secrets in the UK, and it truly is. Against nights like these, they show it. And I'll truly say that it's never been a better time to be involved in American football in the UK. All you have to do is sort of look at the work of the women's team. The GB women's team got a silver medal in the World Championships over the summer. Our under-19s, our under-17s, the men's contact team as well. It's really exciting times. And for me, it's doing my little part to try and grow the game at what we term our grassroots, which is the higher education level. So no, it's very interesting. It's a sport that's growing. It's a sport that is on the verge of something really great, and yeah, just trying to do anything we can to really try and grow the game and promote the game as much as possible.
So what are we doing then? As BUCS, obviously, nights like tonight, we've got a global audience, welcome wherever you're watching around the world, and we've got a lovely blend here of scholarship athletes who've come from the States, players who are new to the sport, players who are growing into it. So what are we doing to encourage and cultivate that talent, but also introduce new talent to the sport as well?
Yeah, good question. So the first thing, obviously, it's me. So actually having a dedicated member of staff within BUCS who is solely focused on trying to improve the delivery of the game on any given basis or any given day, and also thinking about sort of the future development of the game as well. So it's what can we be doing to improve the workforce, so the officials, the coaching. In terms of that, I've sort of put out funded coaching courses, I've put out funded officiating courses as well. It's also questions of what we can do to sort of get more players involved in the game and sort of build those community links as well, because as I said, currently this is the grassroots of our sport, so it's what can we do to get people playing American football at a younger age and introducing the game at a younger age. So it's trying to promote those links with the local community, and in terms of doing that, we've recently just closed on our development grant as well. So again, we made a pot of money available to all institutions to effectively bid into for sort of development projects to, as I said, grow the game within the local community. So we've just recently closed on that, and I think we've made some clubs very, very happy.
Exciting times indeed. Look, you're involved with the GB programme.
I am.
There's a trial coming up this weekend, and I'm led to believe that over 300 players are going to turn up to that trial and hope to put on that Lions jersey. I mean, those are incredible numbers, and some are genuinely going to have an opportunity, some are just going to hope that they have the trial of their lives, but 300, that's an exciting volume of players.
No, it's absolutely incredible. I sort of talk about my story as well. So I was in a very similar situation last year, so I went through the trials in October last year, and obviously made it into the GB squad, and I'm currently a member of the GB squad. My journey, like a lot of the players who will be there tomorrow, started at university. That was the first time I ever played American football, and to sort of see my journey from that point all the way through to GB is absolutely incredible. 325, I think the number is tomorrow. That's crazy. It's going through a lot of work for the coaches, but no, it's just, as I said, it's just a real indication of how exciting it is to really be part of American football in the UK at the moment. It's a really interesting time and good time.
You can go as big or as small with this as you like, but if there was one thing or a couple of things that you'd really like to see in terms of Great British American football, what would they be? Could be anything. More events like this, bigger events, bigger crowds watching, more people playing, more people going to play maybe in the NFL. But is there anything you'd really love to see?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of all of that. I think all of those are important. For me specifically at this level as well, I think for me a major thing, and potentially two things which are really high up on my sort of list of priorities. It's getting more women involved in the game. American football at university is an open competition. So it's men, it's women, it's pretty much all genders who are allowed to play American football within higher education institutions. So it's, for me, trying to get more women involved in the game is definitely a massive thing for me. And also flag football as well. Flag football is the fastest growing discipline of the sport. It's taking over. It's definitely a more sort of accessible version of the game. It's not as expensive as sort of buying the pads and helmets to actually play contact football. So doing what we can to try and get that off the ground and grow that as much as possible is also very important to me as well.
Finally then, a chance to pitch. Is there anything that the people at home should be keeping their eye on if they want to get involved with the game, whether it's contact, whether it's flag, whether it's officiating? Is there anywhere they can go to find out more and become a part of this massively growing game?
Yeah, most definitely. So we are going to be releasing some funded courses for BAFCA Level 2 qualifications very soon. So keep an eye out for that. We have released courses for match official qualifications in partnership with BAFCA. So again, do get in touch and get in contact if you want to find out more about that as well. What else am I doing? So we're going to be running a flag event through Lawless in the summer, sometime in June as well. Again, as I said, as sort of an initiative to try and get flag off the ground as well. So again, keep an eye out for that, and I hope to see as many people down there as possible as well.
So many opportunities to get involved, so I suggest you do so. Great to know that the game's in safe hands as well. I'm going to let this man find some gloves or get warm or something. Great to have a chat, and good luck with whatever you're up to in the future.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yes, here we are then. Great to hear from Tonye, and great to hear about all the wonderful stuff that they are building towards here at BUCS with this great sport. We've all had a bite of our coffee at half-time.
Freshen the ice off of my jacket.
Yeah, it is like that, isn't it? So we are on a desk, and all of the things we've got on the desk. So clipboards, team sheets, microphones, pens, they have all got frost and ice on them. So this performance out there from these teams who are putting it in, they are putting it in pretty tough conditions. The Bullets are just making their way past us now ahead of whatever they did at half-time. Hopefully it was in a very warm room. What do you think the conversations they'll have had will have been after that first half?
So for SGS, as much as they've scored 22 points, SGS, UWE,
yep.
I think that they will go in there and say, this isn't good enough.
Okay.
We're better than this. We expect more from you. I think they want to put the same scores on this team as they do against all of the other teams. Now, the reason for that is a good recruitment area for the UWE team is SGS. So a lot of these guys are doing, access to learning courses and coming into a higher education and can then feed it into UWE to come and do their undergrad courses. So if they show them, hey, look, we're the real deal over here, you'll have a few guys looking over and saying, well, maybe I want to go and play on the red side of Bristol.
Yeah, recruitment's absolutely massive. It's something that the coaches mentioned beforehand. maybe one of the reasons why SGS didn't arrive particularly early. It was less than an hour before kickoff, wasn't it, when they came peeling off the bus. Fewer opportunities to maybe have quiet conversations, the old cloak and dagger, as it were. But you know, you're talking about those scores. Of course, the success for the UWE Bullets over the last couple of years. They were the national champions last year. They won the conference in 2022, in 2019, in 2020. Just this year, they've beaten Birmingham 78-6, 86-0 against the Pirates, 90-0 against Cardiff. I mean, these are serious scores, and they do show the gulf in class, but also just how seriously this Bullets team take it.
Yeah, and the Bullets team, as much as it's fun to win by those points, more than anything, they want someone to go toe-to-toe. That's why when they came away from the national final with Nottingham, they loved that game, because all year they had kind of gone unchallenged in every game, and to actually be able to coach on the sideline and make adjustments and, okay, well, this isn't working, let's adjust. At the minute, what do you say to your players? Well, go and keep doing what you keep doing.
But to be a great player, you need ability and you need strong character. And when you're winning 90-0, you find out about ability, but it's not until you're in a real dogfight where you find out about character. Absolutely.
And when teams do come and give them a punch in the mouth and they're shocked and surprised about, hey, what's happening? How do we deal with this? If you've not had the experience of having to deal with that all season or seeing something new, is you don't know how to respond as a group, as a unit, how to pull each other up. Who are the leaders when you've got everything going against you? Well, tonight is a night where we're going to find out a lot about the character of these SGS players, isn't it? Because their score lines have been similar. They've put 80 on UEA, 40-odd on Cardiff and Birmingham, and 50-odd in the second game against Birmingham as well. So they're used to winning. They're used to winning big. They're not used to conceding touchdowns. So tonight, look, I'm not saying this game is over by any stretch of the imagination. We've regularly seen 3- and 4-score games go the other way. We can have these miracle halves, but you know, we talked about the conditions, but they're the same for both teams. There's not a blowing gale or pouring rain or anything like that. But under a different kind of scrutiny tonight, under a physical challenge, under a fast challenge, but also a more experienced, because there's plenty of chat out there from the more experienced Bullets players as well. This is one of those games, one of these halves where the SGS Pride guys are going to have to dig deep and really stand up for their teammates. Absolutely, and the coaches will be looking for the leaders to do that. Find those players that have maybe played in Europe, because a few of these guys have, and say, hey, I've been here before. Because some of these SGS young players, last year, they had all the same scores. They were beating people 60-70-0. And they're used to winning. This will be the first time that they've lost since, I don't know, maybe pre-COVID. So they don't know how to deal with this. So they need their experienced players to pull each other up and say, hey, we've got this. Yeah. Don't be looking like you've lost, because if you're looking like you lost, go and sit on the bench and tell someone that you're out. Yeah. Go and get changed, take your kit off, and go away, because we want to win this game. And that's what my mentality would be. If I see the guys out there saying, looking a bit lost and worried, and if the QB is looking a bit nervous, say, hey, you're the guy that people need to come and look at. And if you look nervous, they're not going to trust you. So breathe that big chest out and be the person that's going to lead the team. And for a young, confident team, sometimes it only takes one great play to really get the ball rolling, doesn't it? One great catch or one great tackle or something, just to instill that little bit of belief. Yes, we can do this. Yes, we do have this ability. Yes, we do have this quality. Absolutely, and what they need to do is then build on that. So here's a chunk play, here's some excitement. Let's do it again, let's repeat it and continue to build that level of confidence. And what you are really good at is, once someone gets confident, we've seen it time and time again. SGS have a big play, the next play, UWE send the house. Yeah. And they say, no, no, no. Yeah. And that's really intelligent play calling, whether by design or luck, it's working, because then SGS go, oh, well, what else should we think about? And they're worrying about what can we do rather than what do we want to do. So obviously the passing game is massive for them, and that's the first port of call for Lewis Benzie, the QB. It hasn't gone as well as it could have tonight. They haven't got many first downs. He hasn't had as many completed passes as he'd have liked, of course, because of the quality of the defense from the Bullets.
Do you think they do need to dig a little bit deeper and show a little bit more variety in their quest for first downs in the second half?
Yeah, I think they need to be a little bit more aggressive on their play calling and not reckless, because throwing it wide down the sidelines, I'm not sure that Lewis Benzie quite has the strength in these conditions to really push it, and it's risk of interception. Now, intermediate stuff, sticks, snags, overs, and try and get that defense moving laterally. I think there's an opportunity. He's quite an accurate intermediate passer, and really utilize that skill, get the defense moving around, get some first downs, let guys like AJ, the number 20, the receiver, AJ Carr, get him the football and let him do something. At the minute, they're motioning quite often when the number 20 comes across the field, and UWE don't really care, because he's just motioning for the sake of it, and UWE aren't adjusting. So you need to make them care about the motions, or just not do them, because you're burning your own time. You're 3 scores behind now. You need to make something happen.
UWE Bullets are going to get us underway in the second half, so it will be first possession to SGS Pride. Bullets leading 22-0, and the second half is underway. Not the easiest to catches as well, because the ball goes up above the floodlights here. And that's one missed tackle, and then eventually Lemar Virgo thinks, I've ridden my luck enough here. I'm going to take a knee and let the Pride go from deep.
It looked from this angle like there was an opportunity for him to break that before he slid then. I don't know whether he saw someone come in his peripheral vision and took that business decision, but it felt like there was an opportunity there. And bear in mind, you're in a stage now where someone needs to do something, and you've decided to play safe.
Benzie. Better pace this time from Bazunu. But again, it's super lateral from him, and he's tackled by George Rhymes. It's all well and good running, 20 metres sideways, but at some point you need to go forwards.
So interesting there, 88's helmet came off and referee told him to leave the field. He didn't, and now he's being told to move. There we go.
That's Ramari Bennett, another former SGS man. Stephen Malan comes on. Benzie. Again, it's lateral from Benny. They're just running sideways and being picked off here. The SGS Pride.
And that looked like the running back was thinking about making a cut and then didn't. And in these situations, when you're running outside zone, you need to tell the running back you get one move. You can't dance and then go, dance and then go. If you've decided to stop, change direction, and you then have to just go.
That's Jeremy Benny.
So that felt like quite a passive play there with 3rd and 8, and we've ran inside zone, which, you know, traditionally is going to get you 4 to 6 yards. You're hoping that it goes longer, but so far we've not really seen the run game be established for SGS. So it feels quite passive, and expect them to be a little bit more aggressive on that play calling on 3rd down.
Well, Bastian Ropelt is on, so the ball's going to be punted.
So we've got 2 returners back for UWE. Last couple of plays, they've only rushed 3 or 4 guys, tops. And then you see the UWE players tracking back, looking to set up some blocks for these returners to make a play. Now, what's interesting is the ball went out of bounds, whether that was by design or it's come off the side of the foot.
Yeah, it didn't look a clean strike, did it?
I think it would be smart to be kicking out of bounds and keep this away from these returners, because they are really good at making those extra yards happen. And where kickers in other teams, when UWE have played this year, they've really utilised that and scored a lot of touchdowns on special teams.
The UWE with their first drive of the second half. Oh, it's laid off, and then Brooks straight through the middle again. They make gaping great holes for him, and he takes full advantage.
And UWE's running game looks a lot more direct. It's between the guards, between the tackles. We're looking at the A gaps and the B gaps, and they're getting vertical. He's running less distance than the SGS running backs, but he's gaining, what's that, 8-9 yards, and an easy first down. So we're on 1st and 10 again. So nice, easy running, but I've gone less distance. And I think we need to probably think about that for SGS, is being a little bit more direct in our runs.
Here he goes again, Brooks. Oh, lovely cut, step off the left foot and makes more meters, could go all the way here. Brooks will go all the way. 4th touchdown for him. He is unstoppable tonight. Carrican Brooks all the way home. What a start to the second half for the UWE Bullets.
There is a penalty on the play. Number 94, Louis Gallagher for SGS, looks like he's come off.
After play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 74.
So Gallagher, 94, he's a really experienced player for this SGS side. It would be a real problem for SGS if he's not able to continue. He's getting some treatment at the minute.
The 15-yard penalty will be enforced.
He's ready to come back on the next drive.
There's been a lot of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties after the touchdown has been scored.
Yeah, and SGS last week had another player ejected because he had 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. So once you get a second unsportsmanlike, you're then ejected from the game and you miss the next game.
That doesn't help your team, does it? Really does not. 28-0. UWE Bullets. That man, Carrican Brooks. 4 touchdowns. But that was a brilliant example of exactly what you were talking about. You've got one move, make your move. It was round the outside, then he cuts in, lovely step off the left foot. Then there's a group of players in front of him, creating the route.
So we saw on the camera there, Frankie Pankhurst, the OC for UWE, he was really explaining to his offense what he's wanting to happen. So I'm kind of excited to see what that play is. It might just be the same, we're going to catch it and go, but hopefully we see a little bit of trickery and something a bit more fun. Maybe a pop pass from the running back, pop it up to number 10, that tight end. Let's see what they've got in the playbook.
$28-0. This to add the extras. Back it comes to Brooks, who's just going to cruise in for 2 more.
Same formation, different play. So they ran straight up the middle the previous 3 times. We sweep to the left because SGS start to stack the middle of the box. They would know that half-time they'll go in and SGS will say, well, they keep running up the middle, we're going to send pressure up the middle. What do? We run to the outside.
That takes it up to 30 in the 3rd quarter. Can't believe you didn't manage to find a pair of gloves at half-time, you crazy, crazy man.
I am regretting it, but this coat has very warm pockets, so I'm not feeling too bad. It's my toes. I did put a second pair of socks. I found a pair of my wife's walking socks in the boot of the car. Lovely woolen number.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Hey, look, as long as you're warm, that's the main thing. Wherever you're watching around the world, I hope that you are warm. And if I talk about maybe you've got the log fire going or the central heating on, or maybe you're just watching in a part of the world that's much warmer. I think if we manifest it, then some temperature will come in.
Not such a long run up this time from the kicker.
Still looking to put it deep. That is taken inside the end zone, and here comes AJ Carr. He steps inside. Oh, good feet from him. He's tackled big right on the 20.
Which frustrating as a coach is if he'd have stayed in the end zone then, he would have got the ball on the 20 anyway.
You can't stop a man running.
But here's the thing. The difference is he knows that he has to do something now. Just getting the ball on the 20, he's not going to score. So he's taken a calculated decision, said, I want to try and score here. I want to step up and inspire my teammates.
Benzie. Oh, he's run himself out of trouble there.
There's a flag on the play here.
Well, he's passed it out of bounds.
Whether it's offside or not being set as the wide receiver, where the flag is, I think it might...
Offside. Defense, defensive end. 5-yard penalty, remains first down. Timeout for an injury.
Well, over goes Callum Ewart to just go through that. He is one of the on-field captains tonight. The offensive lineman for the Pride. And the timeout for the injury, that is just another cramp stretch. Thankfully, nothing more serious than that. I say nothing more serious than that. Cramp on a night like tonight is absolutely awful, horrendous.
Yeah, my toes, their toes,
yeah.
Everyone's toes are going to be feeling absolutely rough. So to try and stretch out that cramp,
yes.
With
first down. Benzie. Oh, it's a good take, but a good tackle. Jax Crawford reads that on AJ Carr. But a complete pass. Again, small wins.
And that's what they need. What I'd like to see is the ball being snapped a little bit sooner when we've got these motions, because you've given UWE opportunity to make their adjustments and there's not much conflict.
Ovi Bazunu has just been melted. He's got a smile on his face, but I've got no idea why. He has been cleaned right out. Oh. He has been met and sent. But it looked like a bit of a hide into nothing, wasn't it? Devine Thomas. Oh, he's having a rough time of it out there, is Bazunu. They are turning the screw and putting the pressure on that young RB.
And it's the same problem. He's dancing around a little. He's given the defense opportunity to come up. They can settle their feet and make a play, because he's not going anywhere. He's just kind of standing there moving his feet. So all three of those defenders can get closer, and now you can't go anywhere and you've lost yards.
Benzie goes for the pass this time, but it's been picked off. Jax Crawford is going to cruise home. Great read from Crawford. No one at home for SGS Pride. And after a few massive tackles, the pressure tells, and Jax Crawford adds another touchdown.
Here we go on the replay. So a little flash to the running back. And to be fair, if Crawford wasn't there, I think the cornerback would have intercepted that as well. So underthrown a little bit, not quite enough on the ball, and the play action that we saw from the UWE running back that gets you going, I wasn't entirely convinced then with the ball handling.
That's a big win for the defense, isn't it? Because it's two massive tackles that plants that seed of doubt there for Benzie, who otherwise probably wouldn't have tried to make that play. And then Crawford's on hand as Bullets look to add the 2. Oh, flags on the play already.
There's a second flag coming as well.
Full start. Offense number 3. 5-yard penalty. Retry.
So Brooks a little bit over-eager, but they'll get another go to add the 2. 2 touchdowns since half-time. Brooks with the first, Jax Crawford with the second. That interception that we've just seen. Hamish McClure coming back in. Here is McClure looking for the pass to the corner. Great take, great catch. Jersey Ackhorst adds the 2. They're enjoying themselves out there, and I'm not surprised.
Really strong catch. Kept hold of the ball. A lot of pressure from the DB to try and swat it out of his hands, but like we said, too big, too strong, too much.
And just before the second half kicked off, we talked about shows of character, didn't we? And now this is where SGS find out a lot about themselves as a team.
Running clock rules are in effect. The running clock rules are in effect.
So that's the mercy rule. So once a score gets beyond 35-point difference, the clock doesn't stop when it goes out of bounds, and the game hurries up a little bit. So not what SGS would have wanted to come to the game today.
The third quarter continues. Oh, a little fumble there by AJ Carr, but gathers it at the second time of asking. Skips around a couple of tackles as well. This better from Carr. Spins out of another tackle before Marcin Olech eventually brings him down. But more signs of life here, and AJ Carr looking sharp.
Yep, he's a really talented young receiver. He would have played with quite a few of the UWE players at the Bristol Aztecs in the summer in the men's league. Great talent, and I know that he is a player that would likely be a great addition to bring into a national program.
Benzie goes short this time.
So here what we're going to see is one of two things. Either SGS are going to try and go quickly to score to get back into this because they're being aggressive and they want to close that gap, because if they score now, it will stop that running clock. They get more opportunity to play football and score points. If they go slowly and start to run it and, you know, see what happens.
Benzie goes long. No
That's
joy.
an indicator. Now there's a flag here. I think that there's pass interference on the defense. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty, and that's going to bring up a first down.
Pass interference. Defense number 8. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
I'll find out.
Well, a great opportunity here then. SGS Pride wanting to play with the handbrake off, wanting to get some points on the board. Benzie. That's better, there's a gap there. Jeremy Benny, GB under-19 player, makes more yards. It's much more incisive from SGS. Got a first down. What can Benzie do with it? He's going to look for the pass. Drills that out, incomplete. Was looking for Adrian Oskakiewicz.
I've got a feeling here that one of those receivers ran the wrong route, because you had 3 receivers finishing in very close proximity, which is easy for the defenders to cover because you've got less space to cover. Everyone's in one place, easy to break up the pass.
There's the snap to Benzie. Is there space on the right this time? He thinks so, but pass is incomplete.
So for me here, getting into this area, and especially the way that the UWE defense is lining up against these formations, is to use some read option on that backside where we've got a single wide receiver. The linebacker's playing inside the box, so all that Benzie has to do is that defensive end at the top of the screen here, 37, if we can get him to ride on the running back.
Oh, instead he's going to get sacked. That was the 3rd down as well.
He would then be able to pull and replace, and he's got a free run into the end zone. Now, are they going for the points to kick a field goal here?
What would be your thoughts on that? Is it more important to get off the mark here? Because Benzie's come out. He put his hand down to his left hamstring there. I hope that's not too serious.
I'm not sure. They want to put some points on the board so they can say, we weren't shut out, because the UWE defense will be putting quite proudly of saying we don't concede many points.
Lorcan Ryans. Oh, that's been charged down. He didn't catch hold of that at all, but it's been fumbled, and then the Pride player shoved out of bounds. Jeremy Benny was that man. And the shutout's still on.
The shutout's on. I think the play calling there, again, a little bit passive. That point, if you know that you have 4 downs and you're going to go for it on 4th down, if you know that when you're at 1st down, is you can then change your play calling, which is going to catch a defense off guard, because they're not expecting you to run the ball when it's 2nd and long. But if you know that you've got 4, you've got that extra opportunity to have some trickery, have some misdirection, do something different that they're not expecting, and get a score, because 3 points, 0 points, or a touchdown.
Yeah.
I know which one I would prefer.
SGS Pride still yet to open their account for the evening.
So looks like a reverse here.
Here come UWE Bullets again. A bit of space out there for Joyce Stewart-Sinclair.
So another young British wide receiver. He was at the NFL Academy for the last couple of years. He's really talented young receiver. Being around these American scholars is going to do wonders for his game. He will learn so many tips and tricks and good habits from being around some great athletes. It's really going to help him in the long run.
There's the snap to McClure. He looks for the pass this time. Drills that down the middle. Really good catch, but it's been fumbled. But back with Bullets. Great awareness there. Abel Mampaka dived on the loose ball. It's a lovely catch through the middle, though.
And when it goes wrong, because if that ball bounced friendly for SGS, now we've got the ball and we've got a chance. But when it rains, it pours. Let's hope it doesn't.
McClure to Mampaka, who repays the faith. We're getting another 1st down. So he recovers the ball, then gets another 1st down, and the Bullets just marching downfield. There's the snap again, and McClure tries to make some space for himself. Oh, he's quick enough to get the 1st down all on his own. And even when there's nothing on, having that little bit of pace as an outlet where you know you can go yourself, you know you can stay out of trouble, that's a huge asset.
Absolutely, and he's
the
often
end of the third
unaccounted
quarter.
for in the pass game. So the defense are covering their zones, they're looking around for the wide receivers, and then the QB keeps the ball, and we have to converge on him and change what we're doing. So really good to have an athlete that has the physical ability to do that, but the mental awareness of when to do that. He's not doing it on every play, and he's not doing it in a panicking way. He's still calm, composed, like you said earlier. He's directing the wide receivers, block this guy, move this way. He's still got that composure to be able to do that, to get those extra yards.
Yeah, stop that guy walloping me, thank you. That takes us to the end of the third quarter. UWE 38, SGS 0. Where are you on rushing quarterbacks then? 'Cause I know some people are very critical of QBs who run a little bit too much ball. Is it all about securing the first down, or sometimes you have to protect yourself as the orchestral conductor?
So it depends on the situation. It depends on the importance. In this scenario, 38-0, I'd be saying maybe don't run it so much. If it's a much closer game and it's important, it's third and long, and that's the game, absolutely go for it.
And McClure finds Brooks, who goes in search of another first down, maybe more.
But when you've got outlets where you can just toss it to someone like that, I'd rather them do that. Because he's so important to this team. And I know they're stacked with talent, but I think if they lost McClure, they would have a much different looking team. Now, there will be people that can step in, absolutely, but he is a special talent.
So we've seen a lot from Brooks this evening, and the way he attacks, the way he's patient, the way he finds space. In fact, we'll come back to that now as McClure goes again, changes the line of attack, and that is incomplete. For a young RB like Ovi Bazunu, for example, who's had a tough time out there, but you've mentioned him being a little bit passive, is somebody like Carrick and Brooks somebody that he can learn off this evening? Do you think the way that he has run the ball in comparison is something that a young player like Bazunu can work towards?
100%. I think when they go look at the tape and look at what the UWE running backs have done, is they have been really patient. They've got to the offensive line, put their hand on their back a little bit, waited for that block to happen, and when I've needed to make a move, I've then chose one side or the other, and then I've committed to it. I put my shoulders down and try and run for those extra yards. Whereas what we've seen from the SGS running backs is there's someone there, I'll go a bit wider, I'll go a bit wider, I'll go a bit wider, and now I've ran 20 yards for 1 or -2.
Yeah. I'm out of breath and I've got 3 guys who've just smashed me. So McClure goes again whips that pass out. It's taken by Fischler. Just goes seeking contact.
And UWE here will be trying to go quickly. Their goal will be on getting 50 points.
Yeah.
So they will want 50. That will be quite a proud moment for them. They'll want more, but 50, I think, would be their pre-game target of, let's get this 50 burger.
Well, 2 touchdowns required. We're into the final quarter. Now McClure, he's got Brooks just to his right-hand side, has a little look, picks out Brooks, who could stroll in here, and he does. Little step off the right foot to get rid of the last defender. 5 touchdowns for him. And now the Bullets just 1 away from that half-century.
Yep, and what I would be doing here, now I'm a strange offensive coordinator that just wants lots of points. For here, if I'm at UWE where we're always winning, is I would want to be trying things out of when I'm down. So set the scenario for my players is actually, we need to score 2 scores to win this game. So let's go for an onside kick, because yes, it means that people might think we're trying to run the score up, but how many opportunities do you really get when you're dominating people by 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 points to practice onside kicks? So when you get to the semi-final or the national final where things are going against you, you've got an opportunity to practice these things and see who can do it and can we do it in a real life environment. Because as much as doing it as a practice on a cold Wednesday, Friday evening with ice in the air, doing it against a team that it's important that you don't have success really makes a difference. And against this kick return formation, it absolutely looks like it's there and available for an onside kick where we can recover it and go and get another score. So that's the kind of things that you would be expecting teams that dominate people to create those mini games within them and say, well, we said we want 3 scores per quarter, but we've only got 1 score. Let's go out and get our scores. So keeping them motivated, because there's a risk where you're so dominant that players may lose interest and this isn't fun. Like, they're not competing with us.
Well into the final quarter now. 44-0 is the score. SGS, have they got something in the tank? Can they get off the mark somehow, somewhere? Maybe a little bit of magic from that man on the ball there, AJ Carr.
And he's been probably the best offensive player for SGS today, AJ Carr. Really direct when he's got the ball in his hands. He's not taking these little dance steps to try and find space. He's getting vertical, he's gaining yards, and he's being efficient with the time on the ball.
And now we're seeing SGS look to get the tempo moving, look to play some fast ball. There's Benzie. There's a bit of a flag tossed on the play, but Benzie tries to go around himself. Makes a short gain.
And that looks like that's coming back for holding.
We've lost the official's microphone.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Personal foul, shot block on the right-hand side of the line. Personal foul, face mask, defense number 88. Those penalties will offset. You play first down.
So that first penalty is because the right tackle was holding up that defensive end and the running back came in and took his legs while he was low. Really dangerous, because you're going to fall and potentially really injure yourself. So that's a penalty. And if I'm honest, I think that SGS were lucky that there was a penalty going the other way to offset it.
So Benzie gets another go. And it's another loss.
So when you're losing by 40 points, there becomes a stage in the game where, as a coach, you have to say, can I put my backups in to give them some experience? Now, the problem in this fixture is because of the quality of the backups for UWE, they don't have a second team. UWE have a second team, so the guys that would rotate ordinarily and would be of a similar standard to the rotation players on another team, the rotation players here are still really good. So it's unlikely to be too safe to be putting someone in that's probably a bit newer to the game, newer to the sport, a little bit undersized, against someone that is probably going to be a starter on most teams in the country. So while there is rotation on UWE, the quality of that depth is probably too much for the backups from SGS.
And also game experience as well, because as you say, they've got a second team. Even if they're backups here, they'll have just played more football this season.
Timeout. SGS. 5 minutes 28 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Just looking for clarification on the score as it ticks between 44 and 46 with regards to that final 2-point conversion. As soon as we get clarification on that, we will confirm. So what was that? 4:46 to go. I mean, SGS's objective is easy. Score some points, right? You don't want to be shut out for the first time this season, for the first time any season, for the first time since being promoted to this top division. And then for the UWE Bullets, is it as simple as hitting 50, or as you alluded to, do you think there'll be goals within the goals that they'll be looking to tick off?
I would imagine that they have goals within each quarter where they are trying to hit a certain amount of points in each quarter to keep people motivated. Now, the risk here is if you go for it on 4th down here, so it's 4th and 24, is if you don't punt here, is that it's short field and UWE score. On the flip side of that is UWE have been scoring from wherever they are.
Yeah.
So at least that gives you more opportunity to get another shot on offense and go again. So they're going to score. Maybe let them score quickly and then we'll score again.
Yeah, they've done. They've made 90-yard drives look relatively easy at times in this game. I think AJ Carr wasn't that happy there. He thought it might have been interfered with, but the officials disagree. And on comes Bastian Roppelt to put the right boot through it.
So only one returner back here.
And it is Ethan Fischler who loses his footing. And even the officials can't grab the ball. It's that tough out there. Flag on the play.
I'm not sure that there is a flag.
Okay.
Remember, the clock is now running.
Yeah.
It won't stop for all of these stoppages.
James Ford Bannister, the referee, calls them in.
So you've got Jax Crawford in the backfield now.
And then McClure conducting traffic. Is that a catch?
It looks like it.
Yeah. Great play. That's Alexi Moraldo, formerly of SGS himself, into the game. It's a really good catch under duress. And that's another example of McClure, isn't it? Just conducting traffic, making a good pass, and then Alexi Moraldo didn't quite make the first down though. But won't be long until they do.
And they're moving the chains now already. So that has now made the first down.
Okay. So another first down. McClure wants to go long, does go long. Close to brilliance. Dante Sparacco was sniffing around.
He's asking for a penalty there. He felt that he was impeded by the defender a little bit, I think.
My time, 2-minute warning at 2 minutes exactly.
So last chance for UWE to hit that 50. They've got 2 minutes. And they'll be confident of taking as much time as they need because they've managed it well. And they've shown that they can get first down after first down.
How long does it take to get frostbite?
If you take your shoe off and your toe comes with it, then it's too late. Better tackling from SGS Pride. Oh, here we go.
So that looks like that was started by number 7 from UWE, who wouldn't release the guy's foot as he tried to step over him. And then another player from SGS has come in. And what will happen is the penalties will be offset and nothing will happen.
Yeah. But it was an SGS player pushing another SGS player out of the way that caused the flare-up. Ah, it's weird. And again, the referee over there having the discussion. They've all got to have a say.
All the while, the clock is running.
Yeah.
So this is potentially just going to see out the game.
Well, what I haven't told you yet is you've got to choose an MVP.
I have to choose an MVP.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a moment to.
There you go. You can have a little. Do you know what? Think out loud. Who's impressed you this evening?
So the players that have really popped for me is there's one that I'm leaning towards. Obviously, Hamish McClure has directed a great offense.
Yeah.
They've kept the ball going. They've kept moving through. Ethan Fischler, again, seems to be favourite target. Good connection, good relationship. But for me, I think someone that's really made an impact on the game.
After play was over, flagrant personal foul, offence number 7. He has removed himself from the game. After play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 55 of the defence. He has also ejected himself from the game. After play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 14 of the defence. Those penalties will all cancel, the down counts.
So that's Joe Christian, 55, Jax Crawford, and Faranmi Okunlola removing themselves from the game. Sure. Bit of chaos, why not?
And the clock's still running, so I imagine this is going to finish the game off. What an awful way to finish the game. My MVP, I think it's got to be Max Parkinson.
Yeah.
Said his name a few times. Really stood out from the crowd against some really quality players that he's playing alongside and against. So I think he looked really good today.
So Max Parkinson is the MVP. Stick with us when the game ends. We will be hearing from the MVP. We'll try and get him up into the studio, although with his cleats on, getting up these steps, it'll feel a little bit like ice skating, won't it? So we'll make sure he gets up safely, and we'll be hearing from the winning coach as well. Just spoiling the magic of TV, we've decided that we're going to go downstairs to do it to make sure. So we've got a great commentary position. It's in the corner, in line with the end zone that SGS should be attacking in this second half. Yeah, I think you know, health and safety. We should go down there, shouldn't we? Yep, that is exactly what we're going to do. But Max Parkinson is who we are going to be hearing from, and it'll be interesting to find out how pleased he is and they are with this performance. I mean, it is the Battle of Bristol. What we thought might happen has happened. While we wait for play to get back underway, if indeed it does get underway, do you think there are any crumbs of comfort here for SGS Pride this evening?
They kept it below 50.
Yeah.
Which they would have come here thinking we can win this. Whether they truly believe that or not, I'm not sure. But they kept the game relatively close. You know, we were going towards half-time at 14-0.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was an opportunity where they could have come out and scored. But I think there was a turnover and then a touchdown, which took it to 22.
Yeah.
So a little bit different coming into the second half. So
after
same amount of points.
The runner reached the previous line to gain. It will be third down.
I'm a little lost where we are with the game now. I can't imagine there's too much time left.
That's a third down.
It's 3rd and 10.
Bullets looking for 50. Here's McClure. Under a bit of duress, but...
Are we going to see a timeout here?
Yeah, because we've lost the clock, haven't we? I mean, the result isn't in any doubt. There's another shutout.
So I think they're going to take a knee here. I think I heard someone shouting. Whether they're actually going to take a knee, and that's some
oh yeah,
that classic misdirection.
The old dark arts. I mean, I know we've been talking about the conditions and how cold it is, but when we actually go down for the interviews, you will see the ice on the microphones. It is a cold one. But Friday Night Lights, it has been great to have your company.
UWE at 45 seconds.
Right, 45 seconds to go. This UWE timeout, is this going to be planning something magic to finish with a flourish and try and get that half century?
I would think so. They would, if they didn't want to use the timeout and they weren't trying to score, they'd have let the clock run out, they'd take the penalty, the game's over.
Yep.
They haven't done that. They got 19 back there. Are we punting here? Is this going to be a fake punt?
Has to be a fake punt, surely. Marcin Olech is on, the Dusseldorf Panthers man. He's not going to punt this ball, is he? Come on.
I don't understand the rationale of calling the timeout to punt.
Well, he is. And the ball's going to bounce. It's going to come back to SGS Pride, who are going to return it. Not too far. Another big tackle by Abel Mampaka. All the while, the clock remains ticking. The seconds count down. And AJ Carr there. Is he going to have one last chance to get his hands on the ball? Strange end to the game.
That's the game.
Well, that is the game. And that is SGS Pride's first defeat of the season. And it is a hefty one. UWE Bullets remain undefeated. This Battle of Bristol has a clear winner. 44-0, dominant performance. Bigger, stronger, faster, more physical. And as the season progresses, they're going to take some stopping.
Yes, and I don't think it's going to be until they hit late into the playoffs that they come up against anyone that's going to cause them too many issues. I think up in the north, you've got Leeds Beckett University. You've got a University of Nottingham that are the two stronger teams in the north. And then Durham and Newcastle, I think, would probably be a little bit too far away in ability-wise to challenge UWE at this stage. But it certainly seems like UWE are hot favourites, as they were before the season, as they were last season, and the team to beat if you want some silverware.
Well, very shortly we're going to be heading pitch side to get some post-game reaction, and we're going to take a look at some of the touchdowns and the big plays as well. So do stick with us for the next few minutes at least. SGS, it's going to be a tough week for them until they next play, isn't it? Because they've been cruising through teams. They knew tonight was going to be difficult, but I don't think they'd have expected it to be quite that difficult. What do they call them these days? They're all learning experiences, aren't they? But there are a lot of learnings there. If they're going to compete at this level, they need to improve. They need to be better.
They do. And what this will give them more than beating someone 18-0, because let's be honest, if the team that you're playing against has not made you challenge yourself, have to dig deeper into the playbook, have to really find something deep down, some grit, and to fight for it, is you're probably not going to learn too much from that. You're going to watch the highlights of the game and say, oh, look at this great thing that I did. I did this and this was great. Whereas the tape from this film, from this game, the players will be able to go and look at it, understand where they fell short. Their coaches will be able to help them analyse it and understand what do we need to do to be challenging for that top spot that UWE currently sit in.
Talk to me about Max Parkinson as MVP then, because it would have been very easy to give it to somebody who was involved in the offence, who scored the touchdowns, you know, did the pretty stuff, added to the 44 points on the board. So what was it about Max's performance this evening?
So every time that he was on the field, he was causing problems. You could see that he had an offensive lineman in front of him who is experienced and plays in Europe. Big mammoth of a of a player, and he wasn't fazed by it. He's out there taking reps from scholars and more experienced players, but he's the one out there. He's in the backfield. He's making plays, and he's making the stud left tackle from SGS, who, you know, he's someone that I came into the game thinking this is going to be a good protection for Lewis Benzie, and he wasn't, because Max and other defensive players, but specifically Max, came in and really gave him a run for his money. And I don't think that left tackle was expecting him to be as good as he was.
And he is the MVP, who we will be hearing from a little bit later on. We're going to take a look at some of the best bits of the game now. And there were some standout moments. There were some great plays, particularly from the UWE Bullets. Here are some of the best bits now. Lots of touchdowns in total. This was the MVP, Max Parkinson, making the first sack of the night on Lewis Benzie. And going back to the first half, here's Hamish McClaw.
And so composed, directing. He's not just sprinting, running for his life.
Yeah.
He's just, you know, having a gentle jog, getting first downs.
Here was Brooks. He caused chaos all night, didn't he, Karikin Brooks?
He was, and he was in consideration for MVP. But I think what he did was great. But I think the offensive line did a lot of that work with him to support him to get there. He was great and patient.
This was perhaps the pick of his touchdowns. Just good decision making. You talk about patience, but that all comes by making the right decisions at the right time.
Yeah, and that's why you see UWE leaving their starters in the field, on the field for so long. When games are won, they're done and won, and that's the result. But they're leaving these guys in there to help them practice and see in game speed, because as fast as you go at practice, when you get out here, when it matters under the lights, that's when you want to be able to do it.
Well, that was Jax Crawford. Interception, touchdown for him. And that was the conversion as well. Adoye just a little bit short against Jersey Yakhorst. Over goes Brooks to congratulate him. And that was all she wrote. The full-time score, UWE Bullets 44, SGS Pride 0. There's going to be a slight break in proceedings here while I dart field side. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be getting some post-match reaction very shortly.
We've got a bonanza of American football for you here on BUCS Big Wednesday. Through. He's at the 30 now, at the 20. Will they catch him? Has anyone got the speed to Cousin Benny? No, they haven't.
And Nottingham find themselves desperately clinging on as the runner goes in the middle, into the end zone. Touchdown, Bullets.
Congratulations to the SGS Pride.
And it's caught! The UWE Bullets.
How do I get that side? Oh, crikey. So, still waiting for the MVP. In fact, let's just have a little chat here. I did tell you there was ice on the microphone, didn't I? There it is. It's been up there next to us. It is pretty cold out here and the winter is settling in. And while we wait for the MVP then, the huddles over there, SGS, it's pretty positive body language. I think realistically the coaches in particular said it was going to be a tough evening. It was a tough evening, but it's up to them to respond now, isn't it?
Yeah, and I know as a fact that the SGS coaches will be saying to their players, you've seen where we need to get to now. So this will be that motivation of, look, it's going to be cold for the next 6-12 weeks on those Wednesday nights when you might think, do I want to go to practice? Do I really want to do those extra lifts in the gym? This is what they need to circle back to and think about how this feels today and make sure that it isn't repeated when the fixtures reversed.
They'll be crying out for the gym because at least it's warm in there. What about the winners then? What about UWE? How do you stay motivated when you're winning 40, 50, 60, 70, shutting teams out every week?
A lot is down to the coaches to make sure that they're able to keep it enjoyable. I talked it during the broadcast around creating mini goals and breaking down that targets, because as a list, you don't want to just say, right, the goal is to win. The goal is to win. It's to have 100% conversion on red zone, to have the 100% on third downs, to not turn over the football and tick all of these little bits off, where you've now got lots of mini goals within the game, lots of games to win individual and team-wise to keep that motivation going.
Speaking of motivation, there'll be a lot of players on that field tonight who'd like to go one step further, to have international honours, big trial tomorrow. I think a few of those, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but a few of those might have caught the eye and might think that they might have an opportunity to put on the Lions jersey.
Yep, there were some players that wouldn't look out of place to be part of that. And there are a couple of opportunities to represent the national team coming up. So obviously we have the men's team trials tomorrow. And then in January we'll see a BUCS All-Stars trials for the Northern All-Stars versus the Southern All-Stars. So more information should come out that in the next few weeks or month, and that will allow us to be able to keep people interested in the international game and hopefully represent their country on the university level or on the men's contact level.
Exciting time to be a player, exciting time to be a fan as well. Also an exciting time to be a presenter, because I have not got a clue where the MVP is. In fact, he's here. Step into my office. I think this is the first he's heard of this interview. Congratulations, firstly on the victory. Thought this was going to be the biggest. Oh, you're being handed a mic here. There you go. Look at that.
There you go. Lovely.
We'll start that again so we can cut it for social media. Firstly, congratulations on the victory. You're still undefeated. That was a real statement tonight.
100%. I mean, listen, the team pulled up. It was going to be the biggest game, and you saw it right there. It's a shutout, simple as that. And it tastes even better with one of these little victory brownies. So, yeah, we're good to go. As I say, we just keep rolling.
Was it more difficult this evening? Because the scoreline wouldn't suggest so, but the cameras were here, there was a good crowd, it was under the lights as well. Of course, you'll all know each other as well, because there are so many of you who sort of come up in the game together. Did it feel different tonight?
Listen, I think home support's always massive as well. Like, obviously, having everyone here is ideal. Did it feel different? They were definitely more aggressive than most of the teams we play. So that obviously they pulled up, they wanted to play. But listen, it's the same as it always is for us. It's just another day.
Seemed like there was a little bit of needle out there, a little bit of afters, a few rivalries. Do you look forward to that? Is that something that you really want to embrace in this sport?
Yeah, 100%. As I say, like, listen, some of these guys, we know a lot of these guys. Obviously, a lot of them have actually played at Pride. So, listen, there's always going to be afters here and there. But to be fair, for me, it's ideal. I actually don't know any of them, so I'll just play my game.
You were the MVP this evening in a really talented team. To know that you were the one that stood up, that must feel pretty good.
100%. Listen, as I say, it's my first proper year, obviously playing. I only played half a season last year, and I've just stepped into this, and it's a new experience for me. But hey, hopefully more to come.
Talk to us about the programme then, quickly. To be involved with all of these players, this great coaching setup, these great facilities. How are you enjoying being a part of it, and what are you looking to achieve?
Yeah, for sure. So as I say, obviously we obviously played. I played at Kent last year, Kent Exiles for about like half a season. And then Coach Mayer, he just basically gave me a call and just said, look, there's the programme set up for you. Like, if you want to come through, then I'm more than happy to give you the place. And that was it. And now we're here. So
when you win every week like this, how difficult is it to stay motivated week in, week out?
I don't think it is, to be honest. Like, and that's the thing, right? We're never going to be completely motivated, but at the same time, we know the job needs to get done, and everyone knows that. Everyone knows the assignment. We get drilled. We know what we need to do, and we, as I say, we portray it on the pitch.
Big win, brownie in hand.
Brownie in hand, yeah.
How do you celebrate this weekend?
I'm actually I've got GB trials tomorrow, so I'm straight back on it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
good
for
luck.
sure.
So you're off up to Nottingham.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We'll wish you the best with that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Perfect,
I'll
man.
take that off
Lovely.
you.
Yeah,
You're the MVP.
Cool.
Well played. Now, question: are we going to get a coach? You have that. No, don't give him his helmet back. He'll never notice. It's right. So no. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. Is this?
Thank you.
Is that? Does he get some kind of fine for that, or?
Well, the students, they can't afford a fine.
He was really good for you this evening, wasn't he? But your entire team were. How impressed were you by that performance? How pleased were you with the win?
Oh man, I said to him after the game, like, I just said thank you. It was a really good win. It was really pleasing to see him play really well, and we come away really healthy. So yeah, it was. You know what? It was a really impressive game as well. I think we had to adjust a little bit, change things up a little bit. So props to the Pride guys. But you know, I'm just really happy. I think going into the Christmas break, the guys are just they're excited to have a rest. You know, my boss, Guy Coles, the head of sport, Alex Isaac, you know, the nutritionist, Rachel, Emily, the physio, Adam, the S&C coach, you know, they're brilliant, and I couldn't do this without them, so thank you to them.
You highlight there just how much of a team effort it is, not just with that huge roster of players, that huge roster of talent you got out there, but everything happens behind the scenes as well. Let's talk about your opponents then, because it's a tough evening for them. They're a young team. They've obviously got a lot of talent, but I think you showed them this evening the level that they're going to have to get to compete in this top league.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, in the division as a whole, they're definitely going to be able to compete. You know, I'm excited to see what they do in the playoffs against the Northern guys. So yeah.
And as for your guys now, I talked to Max about motivation. When you're winning so big every week, do they ever struggle with that, or do you keep the reins tight and keep the winning machine going?
No, it's self-regulated. The players are the ones that bring the energy and the enthusiasm. And you know, Thursday night here is probably the best football being played in the country. So you know, they motivate each other. They're a really good group, and they just self-regulate everything. So yeah.
A few of them going up to GB trials tomorrow. How excited are you for them? You mentioned the Christmas break with you, but it's maybe one last chance to put in a big effort and do something special this year.
Yeah, look, we live stream all of our home games thanks to Centre for Sport at UWE, and that's to showcase them to coaches, whether it's GB coaches, whether it's coaches abroad, because some of them are very talented players and deserve the opportunity to play for other teams.
Okay, can I ask you one more difficult question before I let you go?
Yeah.
Back to back?
Well, you never know. But that's the goal, that's the plan, that's what we practice every single day. You know, we're doing something every day to get better, to win, and that's the goal. So I think we've made a statement today, so let's see how 2023 plans out.
Congratulations this evening.
Cheers.
Go and get warm. You're in shorts, you madman.
Yeah.
Chaos. All the layers we've got on. Right, let's close the show then. Just from those two interviews there, we've had a little bit of a peek behind the curtain about what a massive programme it is at UWE, and just how motivated they are, and just the kind of levels that they want to push, but not just them, they want everyone else to come along with them.
Yeah, and you could see that when Max got MVP and the players came up and they cheered him on, and that would be really big for him, especially as someone new, surrounded by really quality talent. For him to be MVP, I think that will really help him on his journey. I'm sure they'll be calling him MVP for the next couple of weeks and toying with that a little bit. But yeah, great program, great facility. They've done a really good job today.
Well, that's it now, because it's the Christmas break in BUCS, so he is the MVP until 2023 at least. Final thoughts from you then. It's been great to have your company this evening.
It's been, outside of the weather being absolutely freezing, it's been really exciting to be down here to see the southern football, because most of the football that I get to see at the university level is up north of wherever the line is drawn now. I see Nottingham as up north.
Oh, come on. It's bang in the middle. You can't do that. Right, we will leave it there. It's been great to have your company this evening. Great to have your company wherever you've been watching around the world as well. To have a BUCS game broadcast has been absolutely superb. I'm sure you will all agree. We'll be back in 2023. Hopefully you'll be with us then. Have a great Christmas, a great New Year, and we'll see you next year.